Hello and welcome back to the Water. My name's Peace. Today we're back with Sky Full of Stars. Last time, flesh pudding. This time, hate. I don't know. Something I want to mention real quick is that in the Daijoukan no Tsuchikai, not that one, the video where I basically said, hey, no part today because power outage. Basically in the part where I said that, I also announced the fact that I actually got Fururaba now, so a friend to lover. So that's actually going to be the game I play after this. Like, I'm not going to be putting up a poll after a Sky Full of Stars, I'm just going to be playing a Fururaba. So I basically have the entire Neko Neon Software catalog just down pat, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Whoops. Let me just grab that again. And I'm also going to drink something real quick. As for why is there a video today? Well, I decided that I figured out a way as to how to get over there to the internship. And it involves me getting up like roughly 30 to 45 minutes earlier. So as long as I start recording earlier today, I should be fine. I don't know if I'll be able to tomorrow, but I will be able to today since I had a bunch of time to prepare stuff since, it's fucking Sunday. Anyways, as usual, the little roulette at the beginning on the right-hand side. That's the right-hand side, I'm a fucking idiot. On the right-hand side, we have you just burning a little fire, like a little... what's the goddamn... I'm gonna just say fireworks. It's the German word is Wunderkerze. Sparklers. That's it. I'm an idiot. And on the left-hand side, we have Kauruku and Jaina dress again, which is nice. And also, something I mentioned in the Hoshiori, not Hoshiori, but in the Daijoukan no Tsuchikai video, I changed the positioning of the camera to be in front of me, like on eye level, basically. And do tell me if you think that's better or worse. Also, I may have gotten an Elgato today, but it may actually be causing some problems. I don't know why. Anyways, let's just get going. I guess I dozed off. After getting thoroughly warmed up in the bath, we'd come back, got the blankets out, and at some point I must have fallen asleep. What about... Sa's head rested against my shoulder, her breathing even. We were sitting on one of the seats, blankets wrapped all around us. I was sure that she just looked like an angel. Too bad it was too dark to see. Should be more careful, I murmured while gently stroking Saya's head. You do know that I'm a guy, right? Well, after the incident at the bath, I didn't think there was any question about that in her mind. Better not think about that. At least it had taught us that there were things we used to do as kids that we definitely can't get away with it now. Meanwhile, next to Saya. Hikari? She was gone. Where'd she run off to? Hikari. Hikari was sitting on the roof, a blanket draped over her shoulders. I climbed up to meet her, using the metal frame as a foothold. What are you doing up here? Getting around as usual. I sat down next to her. Hikari lifted one side of her blanket, inviting me to climb under it. I fitted it in its place, but she just came close and wrapped herself around me. Hey! That's not particularly close, actually. Like, I thought for sure she was low-key just, like, shoulder to shoulder. That's what it sounds like. That is one big-ass blanket. It's just as bad as the other one. How could both of them be this naive? They're not naive, you idiot. Nothing, don't worry about it. I shrugged and gazed up at the night sky. Must have been around midnight. Several winter constellations were up to take place of autumn ones. It feels weird only hearing her on one side. Yeah, we did. One of us might point one out, and the other two would desperately try to catch sight of it before it disappeared. They weren't all that common outside of meteor showers, though, so usually we'd just be staring up at the night sky. Guess that had been fun in its own way, too. Just the idea of that something special that might happen. Just the idea that something special might happen. That expectation had made it exciting. These days, I had no time for shooting stars. I just sat there under the blanket, feeling the comfortable warmth of Hikari's body.
今日さ、びっくりしたよ。違う。アキトの勃起のことじゃなくて。
Don't remind me! I'm trying to forget it ever happened!
じゃあ、なんて呼べばいいのよ。
Maybe not for you, but I prefer if we moved away from this subject.
じゃなくて、あのノートのこと。
Hikari choked on her words a little.
さやが先生に提出してくれてたんだね。
She even taped together all the ripped parts.
すごく胸が痛かった。けどきっと、さやはもっと痛かったよね。
Yeah. Miss Miyaru did say Saya had been in tears when she had handed in the notebook. Even if she hadn't said why she was crying, it was obvious to us.
まだ怒ってる？あの時のこと。
Today, our planetary observation journal had been ruined. Hikari and I had gotten into a big fight, and our friendship had been torn apart, just like the book. Back to childhood arc? Why did you come back to the astronomy club? I thought you were bored of the stars. For once, Hikari had nothing to say. Could this be any more awkward? We were huddled up together like old friends, but it wasn't easy talking about how we'd fallen apart.
ごめんね。
What's she apologizing for now?
OL のこと。
Oh, right, Komako. This was something I really wanted to ask her about. Why did you pretend to be some office worker?
私、また引っ越すんだ。
What? Felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. What do you mean by move?
言葉のままだよ。
Those few words didn't exactly do a good job of answering my question. Hikari seemed to realize that and continued.
今の学校にはそんなに思い入れとかないんだけど、その代わり、急に昔が懐かしくなっちゃって、適当に撮った星座の写真をネットにアップしたら、声かけてくれた人がいたの。名前見てびっくり。アキトって、まんまじゃん。
Hikari gave me an amused smirk. I guess most people don't use their real names on the internet.
でも、まだわかんないじゃない？偶然ってこともあるわけだし。
Yeah, I guess not.
それで、OL ってことにして声かけてみたら、やっぱりどう考えてもアキトだったってわけ。
She had asked personal questions like how old I was and where I was from. I guess it was her way of finding it out. Could have just told me it was you.
いやー、そのままのが面白いと思って。
Why you?
OL のお姉さんに甘えてくるアキトが、ちょっと可愛かったってのもあるんだけどね。
Erase your message log right now. Get rid of everything.
やだです。
Why not?
大切な思い出なんだもん。
Why the hell would you want those? They're just full of me complaining.
ねえねえ、アキトってまだ童貞？
Hikari poked me in the side, my side as she spoke. On the blanket, my hands balled into fists as I tried to keep
大
calm.
丈夫だって。誰にも見せたりしないから。私が時々こっそり見て、ニヤニヤするだけでさ。あれとか最高だったな。アキトがクラスの女子に告白されて、どうしようってあたふたしてたやつ。結局断っちゃったんでしょ？
That's none of your business.
まあ、さやみたいな美少女が近くにいるんだもん。 波の女の子相手じゃ
Whoops.
そうそうなびかないか。
So, where are you moving this time?
海外。お父さんの仕事の都合でね。東南アジアの方なんだけど、びっくりでしょ。
Ah, it's pretty far. A surprise showed in my voice. It was a lot farther than I'd been expecting. This was the first time I'd really gotten to talk to Yukari after all these years. Now she was going to go away again. I didn't know how to feel. Could barely wrap my head around the situation. Wow, another country, huh? For a student like me, it might as well be the moon.
アキトからしたら、今さら私だって名乗られても困るだけだろうし、OL のコマコさんのままでいいやと思ってたら、あの話が。
Six Stars Club. Yukari nodded, holding back whatever she'd been about to say.
また無性に、アキトたちと星が見たいって思ったの。
In other words, she'd uploaded that photo because she was feeling lonely and worried about moving. It just so happened that she ran into me. And when she heard about the Six Stars Club, she decided to join the astronomy
ア
club.
キトは星を見るのやめちゃったって言ってたよね。
I told Komako as much, but I don't remember telling her why.
それって、やっぱり私のせい。私がアキトを裏切るようなことしたから、星が嫌いになっちゃった。
Then I remembered what Miharu had said. None of you watch the stars anymore, though. That's not it. It wasn't... That's not what happened. No, this isn't Miss Miharu's fault or anything. I'm just anxious.
不安？
It's like you said, Miss Miharu. I do still love the stars. When I look up at the night sky, my heart races. But right after, I begin to feel anxious. I can never reach the stars. All I can never do is admire those beautiful stars from afar. I'll never be able to get any closer to them. When I think like that, it feels like they've flown off and left me all alone in this dark, empty sky. That's why I didn't watch the stars anymore. Maybe it would have been better to say that I couldn't watch them anymore.
あの頃は不安じゃなかったの？
Bit my lip because I didn't want to answer. But now that I knew Miss Miharu was worried about me, it wasn't right to keep quiet. Hikari was there. She made me believe.
この列車は空を行く銀河鉄道天文台。太陽系を征服しても我ら3人の旅はまだまだ終わらない。さあ、銀河の謎を解き明かすべく次なる目的地へ向かおう。
I felt we could go anywhere. We could solve the mysteries of outer space. We could reach out our hands and catch the stars. That's what I thought. 3 of us. As long as Hikari was there. Is here. Hikari stared at me, her eyes wide in amazement.
私、そんな、やだ、
Don't let it go to your head. And the one that decided not to look at the stars, it's not your fault.
何それ。今の話、どう考えても私のせいじゃん。私がいなくなっちゃったから、一人で星を見るのが怖くなったって話でしょ。
And you felt that way because I was too weak, so it's my own fault.
違うよ、私だよ。
Mine.
私。
Saya coming in.
ね
Yep. We jumped as a low voice suddenly rang out from somewhere near our
え。
feet.
人が寝てる間に、こそこそ話しないでくれるかな。
Just shut the fuck up and try to sleep.
そうよ。
We looked down and saw Saya's face appear from inside the train. The rest of her soon followed as she climbed out the window and up to the roof. Hey, be careful! Whoop. Sure enough, Saya slipped. Hikari grabbed her outstretched hand before she could fall, though.
セーフ。
We finished pulling Saya up onto the roof. She didn't look too pleased.
ちょっと。
Is she gonna, like, sit in between them? Oh! Saya pried Hikari and me apart and sat down between the two of us. That's adorable. She pouted in an attempt to seem aloof. Hikari wrapped her arms around the ever-patient Saya. Saya pouted as Hikari continued to shower her with attention. It's not like it was on purpose. You're fast asleep and I didn't want to wake you. It's rare to see Saya show this much emotion. The way she sulks hasn't changed since she was little. Just then? Me too. We continued to gaze at the night sky. Shadi and I warming Saya from either side. Then we were, all sharing one blanket, waiting to see shooting stars that might never appear. Our bodies had grown, we'd gained a few years, and plenty of things had changed, but it wasn't that much different from when we were just kids. What's cooking? A pleasant popping sound came from inside the pot, and with it a delicious aroma wafted into the air. Oh, you're awake. Good morning. Still in her sleeping bag, Hikari rubbed her eyes. From her place on the seat, Saya eased to open her eyes as she started to wake up. Morning, Saya. That was quiet. Why is this so quiet? Hold on, let me just config. Sound.
あなたにも聞こえ、私の声ですか?
There we go.
そんな、いきなり言われても心の準備が。
We have Hikari child, Saya child, Orihime, Corona child, Miharu, Takeichi child, Honoka, Noriko, Narue, Keisuke, Champ, Kotaro, other men, other women. And then just 4 random people we haven't met yet, apparently. Let's just keep it random, I guess. Anyways, got a little drool there. Wouldn't want to ruin that pretty face. I wiped Saya's mouth with a towel. Breakfast is almost ready. I said as I rattled the little pot. Waking up was hard when you've been forced to sleep in a weighted position. The girls squinted against the warm sunlight shining through the grimy windows and began to rouse themselves. Must be hella dusty in here. Here we go. That's not a whoa, that's a yawn. I cut the heat and lift the lid. Just sounded like popcorn, but that's not a goddamn breakfast. White fluffy popcorn came spilling out of the pan, provoking a craft joy from Saya and Hikari. Homemade popcorn wasn't all that difficult to cook. Just lightly grease a pan, add some popping corn, cover it, and set it to heat. What flavor do you want? I held up some powder packets. Tore up the caramel packet, sprinkled its contents on the popcorn, then closed the lid again and shook the pan around to mix it in. There's coffee too. Water was boiling on another stove. Kari poured a pack of instant coffee and some hot water into a cup. Mornings were cold around the end of autumn, like at night, it felt like it went straight to your bones. Go ahead and dig in.
いただきまーす。いただきます。あ、うん。出来たてのポップコーンおいしい。ぬくぬくで幸せな味だね。
Popcorn and instant coffee probably don't taste this good when you're at home. But on a morning like this, nothing could be more delicious. The three of us enjoyed a simple breakfast and managed to recover some of the body heat we'd lost during the night. Is that everything? Whoops. Called back to the other two as I shouldered my bag and stepped outside.
大丈夫。
Gotti said as he stepped out of the train
あれは
car.
どうするの？
The Ancient One's evil eye. Leave it here, will I? Have to use a wheelbarrow or something to move it. There's no way I could carry something that heavy. I still couldn't work out how to... We'd got it here in the first place.
さあや、早くしなよ。待って、髪が。
After noticing her hair had gotten messed up, she took out a hand mirror and was now fighting a losing battle trying to get herself back in order. Hikari had been the same, but eventually made do with tying her hair back and waiting until she got home to fix it properly. We waited on the platform for Saya to join us. The morning sunlight was dazzling.
あー、体中痛い。けど、超楽しかった。バカなことして思いっきり笑って、なんか昔に戻ったみたいだったね。何？どうしたの？なんで私に見とれてるの？
She said as she struck a pose. There's something I want to ask. Do you still like me?
は？
Kari froze at the sudden question, an idiotic smile plastered across her face.
いや、何のことかな。
You remember that letter, right?
手紙？
The one you gave me after graduation.
あったね、そんなの。
Satisfied with that point, she went back to looking confused.
それが、どうかした？
No, it was a long time ago, but things are different now, but I thought I'd just ask how you felt.
あの手紙、どうしたの？
Hikari seemed a little scared of how I might answer. Still haven't read it. Come on, who would read a love letter from someone who was about to move away? That would only make it all more painful. Besides, at that point, I'd fallen out with Hikari. After giving it a lot of thought, I had decided not to read it. I'd ended up slipping into an old textbook. Wow, look, a beginner's guide to astronomy, and stuffed it away in the drawer.
そうなんだ。じゃあ、読まずに捨てちゃったんだね。
No, I've still got it. It'd be weird to throw it away, but I'll read it when I get home today. Not that it matters now. Hikari broke out into a cold sweat.
返してもらっていい？
No way.
なんでよ！
This is what you get for pretending to be an office lady and messing with my emotions.
ダメ、返して！マジで困るの！
I guess that letter was the skeleton in Hikari's closet, which gave me the upper hand. Not happening. Maybe if you delete your message log, I'll think about it.
消す！今すぐ消す！だから！また二人だけで仲良くしてる。
At some point, Saya had finished with her hair and was now standing with a sulky look on her face.
違うの。これはアキトが。もういいもん。
Saya turned on her heel and walked away.
あ、待ってさや！違うんだって！
Hikari panicked as she ran after her. Hey, away from me! Since we'd spent the night here and everything, I wanted to linger a little longer in our special place and soak in the nostalgic atmosphere. But I put that thought aside and followed Saya and Hikari. This wouldn't be the last time that we'd come here. Three of us together. It no longer felt off limits. I was already looking forward to the next trip. Took one last look at the old station. The fresh morning light, it looked like a new life had been breathed into it. Are we moving back to elementary? Yep, back in elementary. It was around 1 month after the three of us had first become friends. First semester of 5th grade had finished, and we had been stargazing all throughout winter vacation. Since we didn't have school in the morning, we were allowed to stay out late and spent our nights outdoors with the telescope. We complained about the cold, but stayed out until dawn anyway, and soon became the closest of friends.
コタちゃん、お手。おかわり。おかわりだよ、コタちゃん。それは伏せだよ。そうじゃなくて、お腹見せるのも違うよ。
I can't tell if he's really smart or really stupid. Sai and I were playing with Kotaro in front of the Saotome candy store as usual. Hikari sure is late.
いつもなら一番乗りなのにね。
The forecast had said it was going to be a clear night, so I'd called Hikari to tell her you were meeting up while it was still light to plan out our evening. She arrived a few minutes later, plodding along gloomily. Hikari?
どうしたの、ヒカリ。元気ないみたい。
As if she'd been waiting for Sai to ask, Hikari started to speak, sounding like she might burst into tears at any
お
moment.
父さんの会社、なくなっちゃう。
What do you mean? Hikari began telling us about how the train line was being shut down, along with the company that ran it. That was where her dad worked.
ダムができるせいだ。線路が沈んじゃうから。
They can't! I stared at the local train station, dumbstruck. It was an old building that had stood there for decades. Even now people used it every day to get around.
会社がなくなっちゃったら、どうなっちゃうの？引っ越さなきゃいけなくなる。うち社宅だし、お父さんどこか別の鉄道会社で働くことになるだろうって。そしたら、よその土地へ引っ越さなきゃならなくなるって。そんなことになったら、一緒にいられなくなる。
You gotta do something! Hikari silently and sadly shook her head. I can't. We've all gotten so close.
ごめん。
Hikari turned away and ran from us. She dashed back down the same sidewalk she'd used to come to us earlier. All we could do was watch as she got further and further away.
ひかり、泣いてた。
Hikari.
やっぱ帰ろっと。
How you going?
ハキト。
I arrived at the bridge to find Hikari waiting there like always. I said I'm not going to use a kitty voice anymore. What, you going home already?
うん。
I'd caught her just as she was about to leave. I came close and peered into Hikari's face. Her eyes were bloodshot. She'd probably been crying for a while now. As usual, Saya was last to the scene. Hey, Saya. Hikari was just about to run away.
そうなの。別に逃げるわけじゃ。だって、星なんて見る気になれないよ。
Hikari sounded uncharacteristically grumpy. What do you want to do, Hikari?
どうって？
Want to move away, or...?
だよ！ここにいたい！アキトとサヤと、もっともっと星が見たい！
Sai and I glanced at each other and nodded. So all we have to do is stop them from building the dam. That way your dad's train line won't have to close, right?
そりゃそうだけど。
If the dam were to be built, this whole area would be buried under the reservoir's water. When Hikari first told me that, I didn't know how to feel. To be honest, I wasn't sure how to react since I'd never really felt attached to this place. But now I knew. The railway was so dear to Hikari, the railway that was so dear to Hikari was important to me too. View of the fields and mountains on the way to school, the school itself, the candy store. They were sights you might find all over the country, but I'd grown to love them. In just a few short months, they'd become part of the countless precious memories. Memories at the time we three had spent together. Losing one of our group now would be like losing a huge portion of those memories.
でも、そんなのどうやってやるの？まさか、ダムに爆弾仕掛けるとか。
Hikari went white as a sheet. Don't be stupid! When we would even get dynamite!
他にどんな方法が？
Makeshift bombs.
自由研究の宿題だよ。
Saya said with an air of
ダムの
importance.
研究するの？
No, there's one thing we do know about. If there's one thing we do know about, it's what?
星？
Saya and I
星
nodded.
の自由研究をやるの。それでね、コンクールで優勝するんだよ。
For once, Saya was brimming with confidence. After Hikari ran off that afternoon, the two of us had discussed in depth about how we could stop the dam from being constructed. We talked about blowing it up, building a bridge across the water for the train to run on, and other plans that were just as unrealistic. But eventually, Sai came up with an idea that might work.
夏休みの宿題の自由研究で優秀なのは市のコンクールに出されるの知ってる？うん、知ってる。お姉ちゃんが昔選ばれたことあった。
And do you know what the winner of that contest gets?
わかんない。お姉ちゃん落選して努力賞の鉛筆と消しゴムもらっただけだったから。市長さんから表彰状がもらえるんだよ。
Did you get it? You get to meet the mayor! Hikari finally saw what we were getting
市
at.
長さんに直接お願いするのか。
Yeah, that won't work.
それだけじゃないよ。優勝作品は地元の新聞にも紹介されたりするの。新聞にインタビューされるの？そこでダム反対って訴えるんだよ、3人で。そしたらやめてくれるかも。
Now we all know that's not how it's gonna happen. Like, even if they do win, that's not gonna happen. Like, the way I feel it's gonna happen is that they do actually win with this, but it's not gonna happen, or they don't even like submit it in time, and the falling out happens before that. Anyways, if it's coming from three great contest-winning students, they'd actually listen to what we have to say. Actually, I knew we didn't have a better plan than this. It was the best thing three kids could do. Hikari? Tears were welling up in the corners of Hikari's eyes, but they weren't like the tears of sorrow we'd seen earlier that day. Duh, of course we would. Besides, we don't want to lose you, Hikari, right? Thwomp. Unable to hold back our emotions, Hikari hugged both of us close. Oh, whoa! Yeah, it'll be like a trip to the galaxy. We'll write it all down. We'd always enjoyed watching the stars, but that was the day we took our first real steps into the world of astronomy. Our journey across the universe, one star at a time. From then on, our days in the Mikazuki Astronomy Club took on a new sense of purpose. Just the next day, or back to the present? Back to the present.
設計図見ました。あの程度ならうちにある工具でできそうです。
Really? That'd be great.
ブログ公開しました。まだプレオープン状態ですが。さすがのりちゃん先輩、仕事が早い。新生ムツラボシの会公式サイト開設記念パーティーをしなければいけないわね。吉岡、すぐに手配しなさい。
姫さん、そういうのいいから。それより次集まるのいつだっけ？
次の会合は
へえ、これがその観測記録なんだ。
The Six Stars Club had gathered in Hoshin Daiichi's run-down astronomy club room. Everyone was carefully examining the book. That torn and battered old notebook. The planetary observation journal we'd made as kids.
1年もかけて惑星の軌道や見え方を詳細に記録してあります。
これはすごいですね。
It seemed like they were really surprised at the quality of our work as kids. Meanwhile, I sat to one side, smoothing out the Ancient One's evil eye.
スケッチにも色が塗られていて可愛らしいですわね。端々のコメントも面白いですよ。これなんて。
This is our own original constellation. We call it a big dumpling.
それ書いたの私だ。アキトたちと遊んでて夕飯の餃子を食べ損ねて悔しかったから星座にしてやったんだよね。星座って自分で勝手に作ってもいいの？
Corona spoke up from her position at the back where she was jumping up and down, desperately trying to get a look at the notebook.
世界共通の星座として88個の星座が定められているけれど、もともとは大昔の人々が思い思いに空想したのが
The bees.
想像の赴くままに星をつないで自分たちだけの星座を作ることは自由なのよ。
Crow was deeply moved, though I don't think the big dumpling was responsible for that. Even if it was supposed to be a pun, it was a pretty bad one.
この記録を星のダム建設反対のために
Yep, that was our plan. I spoke with a bitter smile. Hikari mirrored my expression. Looking back on it now, trying to win a competition to get an audience with the mail was a pretty dumb idea. Even if that would have had any effect on a as if that would have had any effect on a big project like a dam's construction. It was the best we could come up with back then. I said as I examined a piece of glass I'd been sanding down, trying to get the surface more curved. First, we'd recorded our observations over half a year and used it as our 6th grade summer homework. It was picked as the best in school and sent to the nationwide contest, but it didn't get far. So we decided to write an even better project on the same topic for our winter vacation homework. The end result was this notebook. We didn't just increase the timescale, we also made our observations more detailed and did extra research to supplement them. Construction on the dam was still a long way from starting, and we were sure we'd still be in time to stop it.
やるね、あんたたち。
Narue, the student from Nishi High, seemed a little envious.
私だってこんなちゃんとした観測記録つけたことないよ。
自分もです。いつも星を眺めるだけで観測らしいことは一度も。
They were treating Hikari and me like celebrities. Really, it's nothing. But maybe they were right. Odds are even adult astronomy amateurs would struggle to make something like this. It was a whole year's worth of data after all. We made it the kind of passion only kids could keep up. Not to mention, we had a definite goal in mind and lots of free time.
私たちも負けてはいられないわね。このノートのような素晴らしい観測記録を残していきましょう。いい目標ができましたわ。ねえ、アキニ、このノートなんで破れてるの？
Well, you see, I didn't really want to explain that right now.
いろいろあったのよ。余計な詮索するんじゃないの。
ねえ、これあんたら二人でつけてたのかい？
違います。 もう一人。
かよいつまちゃんだ。やっほー。
Speaking of which, everyone looked confused about how I could tell someone was coming before the door had even opened.
失礼します。
Their eyes all went to the girl in the Seisan uniform as she came into the room. Having unexpectedly become the center of attention, Saya took a surprised step back. She was on the verge of turning to run, but Hikari and I caught her on either side and dragged her in.
いや、
This is Saya, the Mikazuki Astronomy Club's conscience.
毒もキュービ少女の
はじめまして、天の川。
Hey, hold on. Use the secret name like we told you. Saya blushed at my whispered instruction.
本当に言わなきゃダメなの。
You do if you want to join.
聖戦女子天文部アステローペの天の川さやです。
Saya topped off her introduction with a little bow while the others gasped in admiration.
不思議な瞳をしてますね。
本当ですね。
これまたクオリティ高いのが来たわね。ちょっと姫さんと並んでみて。
何ですの？
いい勝負だわ。
アイドルユニットみたいです。
姫ちゃんの方が美人だよ。
She's just saying. She is very competitive against Saya. Lured in by the Dubzonian project, Nishihai and Moromisawa had rejoined the Six Stars Club. Korona had also joined as a junior member, and we had received one more application. Amanogawa of Asterope from the Seisan Girls Astronomy Club. After that night at the Secret Observatory, Saya decided to join Seisan's Astronomy Club.
ついにムツラ星が勢ぞろいしましたわ。
コロナちゃんがいるから七つ星じゃないでしょうか。
お、じゃあこれでプレアデス7姉妹が揃ったってことですね。
何それ何それ。あなたにも特別な名を授けましょう。その名はメローペ。メローペ、なんかかっこいい。
That sounds awesome! Korona's eyes lit up with excitement. Was definitely the youngest out of the group.
それではムツラ星会議を始めましょうか。
I stopped my glasswork and went to join the others.
今日集まっていただいたのは他でもない私たちの天体望遠鏡自作プロジェクトについて話し合うためです。
計画書見たよ。ちょっと面白そうだって思った。
Lauderdale chipped in, making the reasons for their return plane. Guessing you said you already looked at the plans, right?
ええ、工具はうちの学校にあるもので事足ります。もし足りなくても先輩や先生に相談すれば借りられると思います。
Well, that's a technical school for you. I was glad that they were on our
と
side.
なるとあとは材料と費用ですね。
Donations hadn't been as forthcoming as we'd expected. Getting money out of former members won't be easy, even the ones who were still into astronomy. And several had given up and didn't feel much affinity for the Six Stars Club anymore.
そこは廃材とか集めてきて代用すればいいんじゃない？
教頭に自転車のホイールが使えるんだっけ。他にも余った木材とかなら頼んだらもらえそう。
Keisuke and the others were surprised at how fast Saya and Hikari fired off suggestions. See, we tried to make one once before, but it didn't work out so
見た
well.
目にこだわらないなら廃材で十分だと思います。
ならば手分けしてみんなで集めましょう。
We want to keep our costs as close to zero as possible. Expenses are always going to be an issue for any club. More so for a minor club like this, on the verge of being shut down. Even if it was only breadcrumbs, we had to use it wisely. We were lucky the school still allowed us to use this room, let alone allocate us any funding.
それで試供の方はどうなっていますか？
This. Pointed to the glass disc I'd been working
こ
on.
れが前に話していた何でしたっけ？
Kari and I both looked at Saya.
シェントイビルアイテス。
Everyone was bewildered at the strange outburst, but continued the conversation as if they hadn't heard anything.
せめて何か言ってほしかった。
これが試供になるのかい？
It still needs some work, but I've been smoothing it down. I demonstrated to the other members of the meeting about how I'd been sanding the glass to get it into the right shape. The surface was already starting to curve inward very slightly.
試供ってこうやって作るんですか？大変そうですね。
Yeah, this is back-breaking labor. I grumbled while taking a moment to relax my stiff hands. But an objective mirror has to be concave. This was just something I had to do. There were several stages involved in the process. The first step was rubbing it down with a rough abrasive. Once I'd got the curvature right, I'd have to use materials with a finer and finer granularity to get a smooth finish. Once I'd used Foucault's knife edge then I'd use Foucault's knife edge test to check the surface before finally moving on to the coating process. This would have been easy with specialized machinery, but unfortunately I had to do it all by hand. It was demanding, monotonous work.
あ、そうだ。写真撮っとくよ。
それ後で送ってください。ブログに載せますから。
あいよ
ねえねえピカリン、宗教って何？宗教ってのは要するに一番大事な鏡だよ。全然わかんない。アキト、説明してやって。
Okay, listen up, Corona. The objective mirror, or primary mirror, is the most important part of the whole telescope.
鏡なの？レンズじゃなくて？
Do you know what a reflective telescope is? Corona shook her hands. Can't say I expected her to know. Broadly speaking, there are two kinds of telescopes. First, there's this kind. I pointed to the neglected telescope in the corner of the room. This is a refracting telescope. When you think of a telescope, you probably imagine one like this. But the one we're making is the other kind, a reflector. Refractors are probably the most well-known type, especially among amateurs. Typically, they're made of interlocking cylindrical chambers and a lens used like a magnifying glass for gathering light, which forms an image. It's the same principle used in glasses or camera lenses. Refractors, however, don't use lenses. Instead, they use large curved mirrors to reflect light. Isaac Newton is usually credited with creating the prototype for modern reflecting telescopes. And some, they're also referred to as Newtonian telescopes. The reflectors are made as an alternative to the bulky refractors. These had to be pretty huge due to technical limitations. Some are even as tall as 60 meters. Another advantage is that they don't suffer from chromatic aberration, a distortion that causes colors to come out wrong. And even the larger models are comparatively cheap to make. A Dobsonian is one kind of Newtonian reflector.
これが反射望遠鏡ですわ。どうぞ。
Onimi brought up an image on her tablet and handed it to Corona.
なんかバズーカ砲みたい。
Yes, the one with wider diameter. I guess the ones with wider diameter mirrors do kind of resemble huge gun barrels. Have you heard of the Hubble Space Telescope, Corona?
うん、知ってる。宇宙を飛んでたんだよね。
Why do my ears always itch so much after taking a shower? That's also a reflecting telescope. It's a huge reflecting telescope in orbit around the Earth. Corona took another look at the image on the tablet.
これが宇宙に浮いてたんだ。すごいだろ。
Generally speaking, the structure of the Hubble telescope is the same as the Dobsonian we were making. It uses a large concave mirror to gather light and reflect back images. So the Hubble Space Telescope is just a huge reflecting telescope floating through space. While not the only space telescope, the Hubble is the largest visible light reflecting space telescope. It's a really special piece of technology.
君たちすごいもの作ってるんだね。
Of course, we wouldn't be sending this one into orbit, but it was nice to see someone so impressed by our idea. The good move was quickly spread to the rest of the room. And on that note, can I get someone else to take over standing for a while? I shook my poor tired hands a little.
私がやりますわ。
大丈夫かい姫さん。力仕事だよ。
問題ありませんわ。今日はこのために来たんですから。
Burning with enthusiasm, Orihime rolled up her sleeves and took a seat.
どうやって磨きますの？
Okay, well, the others also leaned in to listen as I gave Orihime instructions.
ふーん。本当に秋とここに住んでるんだ。
All except one. Hikari had slipped away from the crowd and was wandering around the room. She opened up a drawer and took a look at the underwear inside and nodded to herself. I would never have gotten away with doing that in a girl's room. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
いえ、別にどうぞお構いなく。
She continued ambling around, picking up and putting down boxes from a pile in the corner.
違うか。
You think I'd hide it in such an obvious spot? I knew exactly what Hikari was looking for. The love letter.
別にそういうんじゃないもん。秋田の現在の生活ぶりを見てみようと思っただけで。
Abandoning her search for now, Hikari looked over at the old telescope.
これもしかしてあの望遠鏡？うわー、懐かしい。ねえねえさや。
何光？
ほら見てこれ。
It may have looked like club property in that room, but it was in fact a telescope my mom and dad had bought for me when I was a kid. Distracted by this remnant from our past, Hikari seemed to completely forget about what she was doing before. Thank goodness.
お、なんだこの騒ぎは。
Takichi came in through the still open door. I guess he wasn't used to this room sounding so lively.
お兄ちゃんなの。
なんでコロナがいるんだよ。
いいでしょ別に。あっち行ってて。
誰？あんたも天文部？
いや、俺はバスケ部っす。お姉さんこそ誰っすか？その制服、西高？
天文部じゃないなら興味なーし。
Narue quickly lost interest in Takichi and wouldn't even spare him a passing glance. Hey Taki, I'm kinda in the middle of something right now.
おい、アキト、ちょっと来い。
What? I told you I'm busy here.
いいから。誰だ？今のきつそうなお姉様は。
Huh? You mean Narue? Takichi peered back into the room through the open door. Narue had her camera out and was taking a picture of Orihime working on the mirror. I mean, yeah. What?
あのお姉様だよ。蔑むようなきつい眼差し、そっけない態度。
Oh no, he's one of those people, isn't he?
性格悪そうでさ、めちゃくちゃ可愛いじゃねえか。
Was that supposed to be a compliment?
なあ、頼むよ親友。軽く紹介とか。おいで。
よー、たけ、久しぶり。
いってって。何すんだこの女。
あんたたけでしょ？
Takichi stared intently at the girl who'd just given him a hearty slap on the back.
おい、アキト。まさかこれ。
これとはなんだこれとは。
I sighed and nodded. Yeah.
マジで？あのチンチクリンだった生き物が？
にひひ、そうだよ、光だよ。あんたもでかくなったね、たけ。
いて、これバカ力で叩くな。マジ。
なーに？あんたたち昔は仲悪かったのに、今はつるんでるの？
ああ、そうだよ。悪いか？
Oh yeah, we used to really be at each other's throats. How did we end up being friends?
忘れたよ。んな昔の話。
ふーん、なんかいいね、そういうの。男の子って感じする。 ねえ、こそこそと何の話してたの？
Taka's got his eye on the girl from Nishi. Takichi panicked and shoved his hand over my
言
mouth.
うなバカ。光なんかに知られたら絶対ろくでもないことになるに決まってるだろ。
I guess you're right. It was too late though.
西高の？あ、もしかして。
Hikari smirked.
お前には関係ねえよ。じゃあな、あばよ。
Takichi ran off, or rather ran away down the corridor. He must have had practice to go to or something.
なーにあいつ。久しぶりに会ったのに釣れないね。
Can't blame him. You're kinda like his natural enemy.
とマングースみたいに言わないでよね。
I'm pretty sure she said mongoose, not hawk. Sometimes Hikari had no clue about the effect she had on people. Sorry everyone, I need to get to work.
夜のアルバイト？
そういうのやってるの。
I like how she just kind of insinuates the fact that she believes, oh, you work in the night industry, don't you? It's a normal job, don't get any weird ideas. But I'm sorry to invite you all here, then run out on you.
いえ、僕もそろそろ帰らないといけない時間でしたので。
家が遠い人は帰るのに時間もかかりますし、ちょうどよろしいのではないかと。
Oops. Honoka no Orihime exchanged a look.
それではお開きにしましょうか。今日はたくさんの収穫があったわ。ムツラ星が集い、7つ目の星まで加わって、私たちの偉大な計画がついに動き出した。
She was right. We decided on how to focus our efforts from here, and the project was starting to take on a more definite shape. Everyone was incredibly enthusiastic. It was an encouraging progress.
そして
It was
素晴ら
encouraging
しいもの
progress.
も
I
見
mean,
せていただきましたわ。
Orihime said as she looked towards Hikari.
そんなのあったっけ？あ、さやのことか。特務級の美少女だもんね。
違うと思う。あなた方3人が書いた惑星観測ノートですわ。実績あるメンバーが加わったことで未来への展望も開けました。
だね。悔しいけど認めるよ。あんたたちのこと。
感服しました。
ほうき星さんってすごい子だったのね。
Seeing that notebook had helped motivate the other members. If seeing that notebook had helped motivate the other members, we were happy to.
でもさ、主教磨き結構かかりそうじゃん。このペースだといつまで経っても完成しないんじゃないの？
It was definitely going to take a lot of time. After all, trying to wear down glass just by sanding it was a pretty overwhelming prospect. Not to mention that this was a big hunk of glass, maybe 40 centimeters in diameter. Sanding it down for hours at a time every day would not be easy on me.
主教磨きは我々近隣のメンバーができる限り協力して取り組みましょう。私も手伝うよ、アキトくん。
コロナだってやるよ、アキに。じゃあ私も。
あんた近くないでしょうが。
Oh, so go! You're like live on the other side of fucking town.
帰れなくなったら止めてね。
No way, you just want an excuse to go through my stuff again.
じゃあさやんち泊まるもん。
いいよ。お母さん、光に会いたがってた。
本当？じゃあ今度遊びに行くね。
仲がいいのね。羨ましいですわ。
じゃあ帰りましょうか。
Why does it feel a bit like Corona feels left out?
それではまた。
お疲れさん。
お疲れ様でした。皆様、ごきげんよう。
The others left to catch their buses and trains home. Hikari, aren't you going with Noriko?
先生に挨拶して帰ろうかなって。ようこったろー。
Hikari ran off towards Kotaro. That Shiba is not a teacher. Jeez, you just do whatever you want. Now that it was just the three of us, Saya let out a heavy sigh. She could be so shy. Must have been hard for her being around so many new people. Thanks for coming today.
自分で決めたことだから。
Saya said as she shook her head. She already knew that Hikari was going to have to move again. We'd all met up again and talked about it after that night.
そんな、せっかくまた会えたのに。ごめん、さや。
And it's overseas this time
東
too.
南アジアの国なんだけどね。鉄道関係の技術協力のためだって言ってた。
After his old place was shut down, Hikari's dad had found work at another railway company. He loved trains so much, but his new job was mostly desk work, so there weren't a lot of opportunities for him to spend time out in the field. That's when he got transferred to an overseas branch. Anyone else might feel like they'd drawn the short straw.
ま
However,
た鉄道に触れられるのが嬉しいみたい。向こうには昔日本で走ってた車両が払い下げられて現役で走ってるらしくってさ。それも嬉しいらしいよ。
and so he decides to basically tear his daughter out of her school and force her to come with him. Hikari was getting excited too. Hikari had always shared her dad's love for trains. After reading Night on the Galactic Railroad, she'd become interested in stars too.
どのくらいの間、向こうへ行くの？最短で1年くらい。延長もあるかもって言ってた。
At first, her dad was going to move over there alone, but Hikari had offered to go with him. Neither of her parents had objected. Oh, so she didn't actually need to come along. Living abroad would be a good experience for her, they'd said. When are you leaving?
冬休みになったら。年内かどうかはまだわからないけど。あと1ヶ月もないじゃない。
Hikari looked troubled when she saw how down Saya was.
むつら星の会のこと知って、また2人に会いたくて参加してみたんだけど、あんなことがあったし、昔みたいに接してくれるとは思ってなかったんだ。ちょっと失敗だったかな。そんなことない。だって、光がそうしてくれなかったら、もう会えなくなってたかもしれないんだもん。さや。私も天文部入る。それで、むつら星の会にも参加する。また一緒に見よう。星を。
Hikari's eyes filled with tears of joy.
やっぱりあんたは、私の一番の親友だよ。
We had to finish the Dobsonian by the end of the year. Our telescope's first light would probably be the last chance we'd had to look up at the stars with Hikari. And that's if we managed to get it finished. Otherwise, Hikari will have left the country by the time it's completed.
試供磨き、私も手伝うからね。
Are you sure? It's pretty tough.
わかってる。でも、頑張るから。
Whoops.
やり方教えて。
Okay, sure thing. There we go. As we carried on our conversation, the store's automatic door opened up. A young-ish woman came out from the back of the shop.
店の前でくっちゃべられると迷惑なんですけど。ごめんな
さい。
っていうか、くっちゃべるなら店の中でしなさいよ。その方があんたも時給もらえてラッキーでしょうに。
With a face that says enough is enough, Miss Miharu yanked off her apron.
はい。
Sure. Staying at work for so long must have really gotten to her. Miss Miharu would usually take my shift if I wasn't able to make it to work. She was the whole reason I could make it to the Six Stars Club meetings. I was really grateful, but I was also worried about the toll it might be taking on her.
あ、先生、こんばんは。
なんだ、ほうき星か。あいよ。っていうか。
Suddenly nervous, Hikari stood at attention while Miharu prowled around her, examining her closely.
ねえ、本当にあのほうき星？
ますよ。光です。
Squeeze. Kari flinched when Miss Miyaru squeezed her chest.
詰め物じゃない。なんでそこで腑に落ちないって顔するんですか。私のおっぱいが成長してちゃ変ですか。
いやだって昔のあった男子かもって疑わしい時あったし。
失言だ。問題発言っていうか、先生こそ本当に早乙女先生なんです？
どこからどう見てもあんたたちの大好きな早乙女先生でしょうに。
How about everything? In the past few years, she changed in just about every way possible. Hey, Miss Miyaru, we just got back from a Six Stars club meeting. Things are starting to shape up, so everyone's really excited. We just need to find enough materials to make the lens barrel and mount.
そう。主教の研磨はどうなの？
Looks like that's gonna work out thanks to you. Sanding and polishing a mirror wasn't something you could just pick up right away, but Miss Miyaru had set me up with someone who had some experience with it. Six Stars Club blog is up now, so take a look if you... club now too, so take a look if you have time.
なんで私が？
You're our advisor now, right?
そう、あいつら。
Miss Miyaru clenched her fists in frustration. A while ago, we'd given our former teacher the title of advisor to the new Six Stars Club. It was the day after we'd received donations for our Dobzonian project from former members. We had managed to raise as much money as we'd been hoping. Our frustration was nothing compared to Miss Miyaru's, though. After I forked out all my hard-earned cash! She had been on the verge of storming off to complain to her old classmates. One response stood out, though. If you're going to call yourself the Six Stars Club, you should have a proper sponsor or something. You could be some kind of troublemaker or something. So we roped Miss Miyaru into becoming our advisor. She lives close by and has a lot of free time, so she was a natural choice. You just have to come by and show your face every so often. Miss Miyaru grunted, the memory of her bad experience with kids written on her face.
働いたら具合悪くなってきちゃった。こたつでみかん食べながらテレビ見ないと死んじゃうわ。
Miss Miyaru flexed her aching shoulders and disappeared back into the store. I was about to follow him when Hikari tugged on my sleeve.
あれ、本当に早乙女先生？
Sorry to break it to you, but yes, no doubt about it.
会に取りつかれてるんじゃないの？肩が重そうだったし、一度お祓いに行った方が。
Hikari still couldn't bear to accept the reality of the situation.
優しい先生に会いたかったら、先生が働いてない時に来るといいよ。あと、先生にまだまだ若いですよって言っちゃダメだからね。そこはデリケートゾーンなんだって。
うん、わかった。それじゃあ、私帰るね。
私も。
Be careful on the way home, okay?
うん、ありがとう、アキトくん。またね。
じゃあね、バイバイ。
Hikari headed towards the train station while Saya walked in the direction of her house. Okay, I guess I'd better get to work. I felt bad for canceling my shifts, but I would make up for that by working extra hard. See you later. After finishing my shift, I headed back to school like always. As I walked through the darkened corridors, I checked on the Six Stars Club chat log.
早速ブログ更新しました。ジーナさん、写真ありがとうございました。
わあ、いいじゃんいいじゃん。やっぱりモデルが美人だと映えるね。
お疲れ様です、加納さん。写真綺麗に撮れていますね。
もう更新したの？後で見るね。
今日はありがとうございました。天の川さやです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくね、美少女ちゃん。
よろしくお願いします。
I had to take a look at it too. They were kind of a weird bunch, but they all had something special to bring to the table. I never thought they'd mesh together so well. I had to do my best too. Huh? The door's open. Could have sworn that I'd locked it behind me. But maybe I'd forgotten in the rush of everyone leaving. Had a bad feeling as I opened the door. Skirt, 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 skirt. A weird scratching sound rang out from somewhere inside the pitch-black room. What's that sound? School at night is a pretty standard horror setting. It's been nearly 6 months since I started living here. Couldn't say I hadn't noticed how creepy it could get. Someone there? There was no reply. All I heard was skirt, 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 skirt. Despite the cold weather, I broke out in a cold sweat as I slowly reached my hand towards the light switch. Orihime! My cry of alarm finally got Orihime's attention.
あら、空見くん。
Of course it's me! What are you doing here?
と、
She dazedly looks at the mirror in her hands as if she wasn't too sure what she'd been doing
あ
either.
あ、主教磨きをやってましたの。
For how long?
ずっと。
Now that I thought of it, Orihime hadn't left the room with the others. That meant she'd been here, inside the mirror, since then. And you got so into it, you didn't even put the lights on. She hadn't noticed when I'd come to the room either.
私、夢中になると、周りが見えなくなることがあって。
She giggled like it was nothing. Don't just shrug it off like that. You must be tired. Are your hands okay? I took Orihime's hands in mine. They're all red. Don't they hurt?
そういえば、なんだかジンジンするわ。
Ah, yes. That's maybe why the glass is red. Huh. Her once smooth hands had gotten rough, the skin peeling in places. I dragged Orihime to the faucet in the corridor. You've got to take better care of your hands.
早く私たちの望遠鏡を完成させたいんだもの。
I get that, but you can't push yourself too hard.
はーい。
Turned on the tap and washed Orihime's hands. I'd had thought about it, she probably could have done that herself. Here's the
あ
towel.
りがとう。
Buses have stopped running, but I can give you a ride on my bike. Where do you live?
それより、私、お話がしたいわ。
Sure.
あなたとは一度、ゆっくりと話してみたかったのよ。
She led the way back into the room. Sighing to myself, I followed. Once inside, I started preparations for dinner. Just like every night, I heated up a can on my camping stove and boiled water for noodles in my electric kettle. I'll take you home after I finish this. We talk and eat. No sense wasting
そ
time.
れが夕飯ですの？
Yeah. Kinda wanted to add got a problem with that, but settled for slipping down my noodles instead. This was how I liked my mealtimes. I wasn't lonely at all. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle.
私としたことが。
Are you hungry? That was a silly question. She's been sitting here standing glass since the afternoon. Of course she was hungry. Would you like some?
いいんですの？
Orihime picked up a couple of noodles and walked over to the kettle.
これがカップ麺。
Don't tell me you've never had them before.
ええ、初めてですわ。
She poured in the hot water and stared at the paper cup, fascinated. She really was the rich girl type. Okay, that's 3 minutes.
もうできましたの？
Orihime timidly peeled off the lid. Are you okay?
ちょっと熱かっただけですわ。
Here, I'll get it for you. I opened the lid for her. Here you go.
ありがとう。
I split her disposable chopsticks just in case she wasn't used to them either. Hear that, Ikari? In my mind, I was shouting up to the heavens. High-class ladies don't slurp their noodles! They sip them! What? What? This girl's manners are a world away from the way my old friend had devoured her food like a ravenous animal. This feels like another case of just the game being sponsored by Nissin. Like, you know, Final Fantasy 15. Ah yes, the cup noodle head. Anyways. But even was looking at the brand written on the cup. She seemed to like them, but I doubt her classy parents would be happy about me introducing her to this kind of stuff. So, you said you wanted to talk?
お話というほどでもないわ。あなたがどんな方なのか、もっとよく知りたいと思っただけよ。
Okay, where should I start? Hearing that from such a beautiful girl had made me a little nervous. But she was genuinely interested. What harm could there be in just talking? Well, as you can see, I'm just a regular guy.
天文部の部室に住み着いていて、星に詳しく、影から私たちを導こうとしてくれる、星を見ない天文部員。さっぱりわかりませんわ。
I don't blame you. When you put it like that, even I found it a little confusing. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not really sure how I ended up like this myself. What was I doing with my life? Actually, I decided to get a stronger sense of purpose lately. More definite idea of where I wanted to go. That was all thanks to the Six Stars Club. And reunited with Hikari.
ひかりさんやさやさんとは幼馴染なんですのね。
Yeah, we're all from Mikazuki Village.
三日月村。
That town's not around anymore. It's where the Hoshino Dam is now. We used to watch the stars together all the
あ
time.
のノートね。あれは素敵な観測記録だったわ。見ているこっちまでワクワクしてくるような。きっと楽しかったでしょうね。夜ごとに仲間たちと同じ星空を見上げて語らい、それをノートに書き留める。
Orihime spoke as if in a dream. I couldn't help but smile. Really do love the stars, don't you? What was it that helped spark your interest in them?
お母様の影響よ。子供の頃、よく星座神話を語って聞かせてくれたの。
So that's how you got into the stars. People get into astronomy for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's because of the beauty of the stars themselves or the stories surrounding them. Others are drawn in by the technologies such as the telescopes and cameras or the idea of exploring space. Six Stars Club had examples of both types of people. There was Narue from Nishi, who was crazy about gadgets, while Moromisawa's Keisuke admired the stars and knew all about the mythology.
神話だけじゃなく、星の世界そのものにのめり込むようになったのは、天文部に入部してからだったわ。先輩たちに連れられていった天体観測会で、初めて望遠鏡で星を見たの。最初、何が楽しいのか分からずにいた私に、先輩は教えてくれたわ。夜空に瞬く星たちは、ただの小さな光じゃない。一つ一つが太陽のような星だったり、銀河だったり、地球の外側には広大な宇宙が広がっている。それが想像できるようになって、たった一晩で世界が一変したような気がしたの。
I understand what you mean. The way you view the night sky changed completely.
今の私がいるのは先輩たちのおかげなのよ。
But Ema had a nostalgic look on her face. Is that why you decided to revive the Six Stars Club too? I guess being inspired by a fellow student like that had made her want to do something for the future generations too.
そうかもしれないわね。
She laughed away my question. This girl could be a little flaky, and sometimes it was obvious how little she knew about the world, but her heart was in the right place. Really like the way you look when you're watching the stars. Joy you're feeling just shines through. When we were kids, Hikari would always look straight to the stars as if she were traveling towards them. On the other hand, Orihime looked as though she wanted to gather up all the stars into her gaze. They were similar, but subtly different. I guess that surprised her with my comment. That just slipped out. I hope she didn't take it the wrong way. Two of us were alone in that room. I didn't want it to seem like I was making a move on her or something. Well, what I mean is,
ありがとうですわ。
Urima smiled happily. There was no hidden meaning lurking behind it. She was just genuinely happy.
そうだわ。
Seems she suddenly had an idea. She took out her cell phone and aimed the camera at the noodle cup. Some people take photos of everything. I guess rich girls are no different. Maybe this was Urima's way of commemorating her first time eating instant noodles. She put away her phone, still
カップ
smiling.
麺ナウですわ。
As she spoke, I felt my own phone vibrate. Did you just...
カップ麺ナウ初体験ナウ。
Did you really have to write that? With a photo too? My phone continued to vibrate as replies came in.
こんな時間にどこにいらっしゃるのですか、会長。
そこ、アキトんとこの部室だよね。どういうこと、アキト。説明しなさい。
Oh boy.
おいおいおい、こいつは穏やかじゃないね。今夜はお泊まり？
ねえ、アキトくん。今からそっち行っていい？
I got so should I... Can I come over too? Well, that escalated quickly. I couldn't try to deny it. Part of my face was still in that photo, and there are all other kinds of hints in the background that gave away the location.
美味しいですわよ。
Urima continued to write about her first noodles. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. It was like I was being assaulted by some unseen but a relentless enemy. I switched off the notification on my phone and turned it over so I couldn't see the screen. Just like, no. No. There you go.
ありがとう。わあ、こんなもので寝るのね。
Urima spread out the sleeping bag, her eyes sparkling with delight. As to why she was getting ready to spend the night. You've got to be kidding. My bike has a flat tire!
お父様、今日は出張で迎えに来られないそうですわ。
What?! The damn thing hit me in the face as well. That was some serious splashback. It makes it sound like that's a toilet. Could we maybe call a taxi? Got the feeling that you could afford something like that.
別に構いませんけど、お母様が泊まってきてもいいとおっしゃっているので。
Did you inform her, your dear mother, that you're currently staying at an astronomy club room with a boy? Wow, your mom's pretty laid back, huh? I was not expecting that.
星を見るのに外泊するのは普通のことですし、お母様も慣れてらっしゃるのよ。
Well, that makes sense. Then again, stargazing wasn't the reason Urima was away from home tonight. Looked like she was spending the night in my room, whether I wanted her to or not. I guess it's okay. I hadn't looked at my phone since the noodle photo. But I'd probably be bombarded with even more messages if anyone found out about this. It's pretty late, so feel free to turn
あ
in.
なたはどうしますの？
I'm gonna work on this a little more first. Picked up the Ancient One's evil eye and examining the curve of its surface. Want to get it done as soon as I can. As I sat down to begin work, Urima regarded me quizzically.
早く完成させたい理由が何かあるんですの？
Well, yeah, you could say there is.
それは光さんと関係があるのかしら。
What makes you think that? She caught me a little off guard, so I got a little defensive.
あなたがむつら星の会の活動に積極的になったのはあの方が来てから。その前は参加する気はないなんておっしゃっていたのに。
He saw right through me. He got his moving overseas at the end of winter vacation. This Dobsonian's first light could be the last chance I have to go stargazing with her. But only if I can. But only if we can. If we can finish it in time. Not can we.
そうでしたの。
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring personal issues into this. Urime shook her head.
個人的で結構よ。私たちはまだ出会ったばかり。みんな自分の事情でここにいるわ。でも、もしいつか本当の仲間になれるなら、仲間の事情はみんなの事情になるはず。そう、ひかりさんが。私も悲しいわ。ひかりさんと星を見られなくなる。
My nose isn't as runny as yesterday.
それは急がないといけないわね。
It's fucking weird. Even as she spoke, Orihime was struggling to keep her eyes open. She looked like she was just about to fall asleep. Please go ahead and sleep. I'm sorry the lights are still on.
いいえ、起きてますわ。私も何か手伝いを。
No, you should go to bed. Get to the sleeping bag. You could catch cold otherwise.
全然平気よ。もう子供じゃないんだから。
Orihime mumbled some half-hearted protestations, but climbed into the sleeping bag nonetheless. Huh, that was quick. The sounds of deep but refined breathing were already coming from the sleeping bag. She completely let her guard down too. Maybe I did have some kind of special power that made girls feel completely safe around me. Either that or my masculine charm is non-existent. Simple repetitive work of sanding the mirror was enough to keep me awake a little longer. Yeah. Skirt, 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 skirt. Skirt, 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 skirt. Skirt, 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 skirt. I can't keep this up. I'm so sick of sanding. A dream? I even started working on the mirror in my dreams. I could almost hear the scratching sound now. Skirt, 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 skirt. This noise wasn't from my dream.
起きましたの？
Ah! I nearly jumped out of my skin as I grabbed the blanket I'd been using and covered myself. What? Orihime? Why are you in my bed? Last night, did Orihime die? No, she actually seemed to be completely absorbed in sanding the mirror. That's not something you'd be doing the morning after an indiscreet night. Alright, we're just both just sleeping here last
お
night.
はようございます、空見くん。
Makes sense. Morning! I guess you went back to work after you got up, huh?
ええ、うるさかったかしら。
No, it's fine. I did have some weird dreams, though. Ever since I started sanding that mirror, I couldn't get away from that damn scratching. It echoed around the inside of my head, even when I slept. More importantly, I hope you haven't been depriving yourself of sleep just to get more work done.
そんなことありませんわ。ぐっすり寝て、おかげで早起きできました。ひかりさんと星を見るために少しでも進めておきたいものね。
My neck did do the break. Urihime returned to her task with renewed enthusiasm. If you take the quarter-past bus, you should get to Meiko Academy on time. After washing and putting together a quick breakfast, I saw Orihime to the bus stop outside the school gates.
ゆうべは楽しかったわ。まるでキャンプみたいで。
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, but don't make a habit out of it. You'll make everyone worry.
あら、私が一番年長なのに。
She gave a short laugh. At least she was aware of some of her shortcomings. Felt a smile spreading on my own face. When I looked at my phone earlier, I had several unread messages. Just imagining what they might say filled me with dread. But soon enough, the bus arrived.
ありがとう、空見くん。頑張ってひかりさんが行ってしまう前にロブソニアを完成させましょうね。
Why do I suddenly have the weird desire to just scream at this? No, I'm not actually gonna do it. Ah! I did it anyway. Yeah. Orihime gave me another of her winning smiles.
それじゃあまた。
Yeah, see ya. The door closed behind her and the bus drove off. After watching it go, I started walking. Better head to work. My bike was out of commission, so I had to go on foot. Probably run into Saya during buying lunch, and I have to explain what happened last night. I plodded along the early morning road, trying out excuses in my head. Oh, back to elementary. Oh, we're near the end of elementary school. Is this like... It was the last day of our second semester of 6th grade.
みんな、いいですか？冬休みだからって、くれぐれも危ない真似はしないように。
危ないことってどんなことですか？
そうですね。例えば、冷たい川で泳いだりとか。
なあ、ほなこと誰もしねえって。
去年の今頃、やった人がいたはずだけど。
俺じゃねえもん。
させたのたけくんだったよね。ねえひかり。
ああ、そうだっけ。
どうしたのひかり。
あ、別に。たけ、あんま先生に心配かけるんじゃないよ。
おめえにだけは言われたくねえよ。
Takichi and Hikari's back and forth always made the whole class laugh.
笑い事じゃないんだけどね。
I can already see, like, the signs. Miss Satome gave a dry smile as her fingers massaged a certain spot on the back of her head. She did that a lot back then. Yeah. Yeah.
何コロナ。チョップされない。
I like her, she's just... I didn't get hit. This is Nikari.
そんないつまでも子供みたいなことしないよ。ねえねえ、今日もアキ兄たちと遊ぶの？コロナも混ぜて。そうだね。
Hikari! After Miss Saotome wrapped things up with the class meeting, Hikari had dashed out of the classroom before anyone else. Caught up with her just outside the school gates. Where are you going?
別に。お腹空いたから早く帰ろうと思って。
Hikari had been acting weird all morning. She wasn't her usual friendly self, and it seemed like she had something on her mind. Well, let's walk together, back together.
いい。早く帰らなきゃだから。
どうしたのひかりちゃん。
じゃあね。
Hey, wait a minute! How about tonight? Now that we're on vacation, we can stargaze all night.
コロナも。
Hikari?
やめとく。さやと言っといでよ。
So you're not coming? But we've been looking forward to the vacation for ages. We'd hardly talked about anything else except for how much fun it would be to stay out and watch the stars until morning. And Hikari had been the most enthusiastic of all. Oh, talking hard. What's wrong with you today? Did you eat something weird? Sounded like a joke, but at the time I was serious. I thought maybe she'd gotten poisoned by a strange mushroom or something. Why else would Hikari talk like that? But...
飽きちゃった。星とか見るの、もう飽きちゃったんだ。だからもういいやって。ノートももう完成してるし。あとはさやと二人でやりなよ。じゃあね。
Hey, wait, Hikari!
ひかりちゃん！コロナ、行くよ。
Korona cast a harried glance at me, then Hikari, and went after Hikari. What's up with her? Unable to fathom her behavior, all I could do was watch Hikari fade into the distance, followed by Korona.
ごめんなさい。遅くなって。ひかりは。
So I looked around for our friend. She said she's bored of us. She said she's done with stargazing. I had no idea what was going on. Where had all this come from? Well, I guess she'd always been the type to get bored quickly. She was constantly moving from one activity to another. Still, it was all too sudden. Main reason we'd been stargazing so much was to stop Hikari from moving away, so the three of us could stay together. Couldn't just leave it alone. I had to find out the reason for Hikari's change in attitude. Oh, back to the present again. Old man champ. The old man carefully examined the curve of the glass which I'd been sanding.
ねえ、あの人が前に言ってたチャンプじいさん。
Shh! Don't call him that to his face! I silenced Hikari with a quick elbow jab. But yeah, this was the old guy we called Old Man Champ.
光、知ってるの？うん。なんかね、エッチな本を少年チャンプに隠して買ってくんだって。
I told Hikari about him when she was still using her Komaku persona. Guys, he's gonna hear you!
そんな方が師匠で大丈夫なんですの？
Orime must have overheard what Hikari said. She sounded worried. She'll be fine. I'm pretty sure his skills are the real deal. Calling him an instructor was going a little far, but Champ was the one who had taught me about sanding and polishing mirrors. He used to work in the glass manufacturing industry, so he knows what he's talking about. As for how I ended up learning from him, we'd have to go back to last week.
鏡面研磨も自分たちでやる気なの？
That's the plan, looking at the donations we've got so far. Doesn't seem like we'll be able to buy the ready-made ones. Plus Orime and the others said they'd prefer if we could make everything ourselves if we can. Our goal wasn't to create a really high-performance telescope. It was more about learning firsthand what was required to make one. What the different parts did and how they came together. Learning how to do it from a book will be hard, though.
そりゃそうでしょうよ。専用の道具だっているし。
Yeah.
誰かに習ったら？なんだったら紹介してあげるけど。
Really? You know something like that? I jumped at the offer. It sounded too good to be true.
まあね。私らも昔自作やってたことあったし。あんたたちほどでかいのじゃないけど。
I guess a project like this wouldn't be out of character for this old Six Stars Club. You've got to introduce me! Where do they live?
ここにいるわよ。
Huh? Oh, you mean it's you?
違う。私も少しはやったけど、教えられるほどじゃないわよ。
Then who? If right here meant inside the store, there was only one other person it could be. Yeah, the little old man who was shying away from buying his dirty magazines while Miss Miharu was at the register.
はーい、じっさま
She beckoned to Old Man Champ, but he pretended he didn't hear and continued to stare at the magazine rack.
たく、いい年してシャイボーイなんだから。適当に頼んでみなさい。
Miss Miharu gave me an encouraging pat on the shoulder, then disappeared into the back of the store. A few minutes later, Old Man Champ came up to the register. Just like he'd always chosen a dirty magazine after much deliberation, and just like always, he'd chosen a dirty magazine after much deliberation and hidden it under a copy of Champ Comics. What can I do for you? That'll be 702 yen. 1,000 yen, so that's 298 yen change. But first, would you mind if I asked you for a favor? After some negotiating, I agreed to Old Man Champ's terms, and he taught me how to polish the mirror.
一体何者なの？
He was a glass craftsman that lived in Mikazuki village, but he retired when the dam was built.
ガラス細工とレンズ加工は違うんじゃ。
That's true, but according to Miss Miharu, this area used to be a real astronomy hotspot. So he had started grinding mirrors for reflecting telescopes after a friend commissioned him for work. So while he was technically an expert in lenses and while he wasn't technically an expert in lenses or astronomy, he'd made plenty of objective mirrors in his time. Kinda really liked the idea of the glass he'd worked on being used to look at the stars. Old Man Champ looked like he had something to say. What do you think? Leaning closer, keeping a wary eye on the girls, Champ whispered to me conspiratorially.
まあいいじゃの。もう少し削れたら次の段階へ進んでもええぞ。
Awesome, thank you! This old man really was shy around young girls, which seemed to include both my friends and my former teacher. I guess his idea of youth was a little different from mine. As was his passion for dirty magazines.
わかっとるじゃろうな。
Yeah, leave it to me. I already found a place online. All that's left is to place the order and wait. Made extra sure not to let any of the girls hear that part.
何話してるんだろう。
We'd worked out our own secret deal. My part of the bargain was to get the old man some of his favorite magazines from an online dealer. There were some vintage publications that, with a real retro feel about them. For Champ, they took him right back to his younger days. Apparently, he was shy in real life and no good with computers or the internet. Our store was maybe the only place he could get what he was looking for.
すまんの小僧。
No problem. In return, he was not only teaching me how to sand and polish the mirror, but also lending me his old tools. That was the easy
お
part.
主には感謝しておる。お主がいるおかげで、わしはいつも安心してエロ本が買える。この年でエロ本を読むなんざ、みっともないと思うじゃろうが、ばあさんに先立たれたわしにとって、残された余生の数少ない潤いなんじゃ。
Sir, help with Kim coming by. You can count on my discretion.
ああ、信頼しとるよ。
ほんと何話してるんだろう。
なんだか分かり合ってる二人って感じだね。
なんだか微笑ましいですわね。
We continued to make progress on the mirror. So we continued to make progress on the mirror, I meant, of course. Anyways. After Old Man Champ left, we all took turns sanding it. The surface of the glass gradually gave way to our efforts. After this, we'd be sanding with a finer abrasive to make the surface nice and smooth. And according to Champ, we were nearly ready to move on to that stage.
疲れるねこれ。アキト、これ毎日やってるの？
Yeah, more or less. I had a lot of free time after school and before bed, not to mention my lunch break during the day. I wouldn't want us to run out of time.
そうだね。
Scotty flashed me a smile and returned to her work.
アキトくん、そろそろ時間じゃない？
Alright, well, it's time for me to go to work.
もうそんな時間ですの？
Sorry, I know it's a pain coming all the way out here.
私はすぐ近くですけど、ひかりさんが。
Higari's school, Amahai, was right on the southern boundary of the city. The train journey was over 45 minutes each way, although that was much faster than it used to be.
いいって、好きでやってることだし。
片付けるね。
So I took the lead in getting the room back in order. Urime got up to join her. Meanwhile, Hikari left to wash her
アキト、
hands.
ちょっと。
What's up? Hikari silently held out her hands.
返して。
Give what
と
back?
ぼけるんじゃないの。本当にマジでお願いだから、あれをそのままにして日本を離れられないの。
She sounded more determined than ever. Whatever was in that letter, she did not want me finding out. What was I going to do now? I feel like be nice and give it back is the you don't go for her route anymore option. That's what it feels like, at least. A sky full of stars route guide. There we go. Ow. Okay then. Oh! Oh wow, so this is really easy. Basically, be firm and keep it goes to Saya and Hikari's route, while Be Nice and Give It Back goes to Orihime and Korona's route. This is really easy! I, however, feel horrible for going, here. There you go. Also, the way this is set up makes it feel like this is gonna, like, move up to a, like, love triangle again, and it feels like, but then again, it feels like if they did that kind of stuff, there would be a love triangle with Korona and Saya, since there is, like, some conflict already, and I feel like that would just be fitting, I guess. Anyways, Be Nice and Give It Back, I suppose. Part of me didn't want to give it to her. Still hadn't read the letter, but whatever was inside it must have been important. Something Hikari really wanted to tell me 4 years ago. Letting it go would be like losing whatever feelings she had for me back then.
コマコさんのログ、さやに見せるよ。
That was something I wanted to avoid at all costs. Okay, fine, you can have it. Step back into my room.
どうしたの、アキトくん。
I just forgot something. After digging through my stuff next to Saya and Orihime, I finally pulled out that book. Blah, talking hard. I opened the page and wow, look, a beginner's guide to astronomy. Wedged inside was a letter. Hikari held out her hand for it. Not so fast. Delete those messages first. It felt like a hostage negotiation scene from a movie. Hikari took out her phone and deleted the entire log of messages between me and Komako.
はい、消したよ。
Don't look so disappointed.
別に不満じゃないわよ。ただ、ちょっと寂しいだけで、楽しい思い出もあったのに。
Sure, memories of me embarrassing myself. Here. Hand her the letter.
本当に読んでないんだ。
The bunny sticker holding the envelope closed was still intact, same as it had been 4 years ago. Maybe we should read it now together?
いらないいらない。
Hikari shoved the letter into her pocket before I had a chance to change my mind.
片付け終わりましたわよ。
Orihime opened the door and peeked through it.
何を話し込んでますの？
Oh, nothing.
手洗ってきまーす。
Hikari rushed off towards the
ど
sink.
うかなさったの？なんだか少し寂しそう。
Who, me? No way.
ならいいんだけど。
Don't worry about me, Orihime. Besides, aren't you getting tired of coming over to help out every day? You don't have to push yourself too hard.
無理なんてしてませんわ。
I just actually thinking about it. Like I think this is the only like game I personally know of where it's just like, hey, you're a first year. Because aren't you usually like a second year in like all these visual novels? Like isn't like almost everyone a second year and then there's this 1/3 and one's first year? Like it's always set up like that. There's always like 2 that are in your grade, 1 that is above your grade, and 1 that is below. But in this case, it's like your first year, there's 2 other first years. Corona is like on like a lower level, school level, like entirely, like the school grade entirely, level school, middle school, there we fucking go. It's like last year of middle school, still 1 year younger, but you know, still different school and all that. Everyone is at different schools as well. And then the one that is above your grade is 2 years older. Because she's a 3rd year. Anyways.
私も残したいの。自分何せ
Oops.
私がここにいられるのもあと数ヶ月だから。
That's right. Hikari wouldn't be the only one leaving the Six Stars Club. Ryume would be graduating in March, and she'd be gone too.
だからダメと言われても手伝うわ。
Ryume gave a mischievous smile full of resolve. If you all went well with the Dobsonian telescope, it would probably be used for years to come. If all went well, not if we went well. I'm an idiot. No wonder she's pouring her blood and sweat into the primary mirror. It's the heart of the whole project. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
私楽しいんですの。こうして大勢の仲間たちと活動することができて。
It's good to have you on board. Rime may have been 2 years older than me, but the innocent way she smiled always made her look like a sweet little girl. Strange wording? Anyway, at the very least, mirror grinding for the primary mirror was going well. We're still in the present. Some time had passed since we had started on our Dobsonian telescope. And the way things were coming along, we decided to hold another meeting. I'm blue.
そっち支えててもらっていいですか？
I'm blue, double B double the. Anyways, got it?
そこ持っちゃダメです。もっと根元を。
Sorry. Today's meeting was on the school grounds. Our club room was just a little too cramped. Kesuke, the other Morimisawa Astronomy Club members, and I were all working to put together the Dobsonian telescope.
はあ、こんな風になるんだ。
でっかい。大きいですわね。
We mounted the body on the already complete stand. The primary mirror and some of the other delicate parts still weren't ready, so that was as much as we could do for the day. Each school had taken care of a different part, so we had to try and put everything together to make sure the measurements all lined up.
やっぱ燃えるね。自作の望遠鏡。
はい。
The whole club from Nishii was here. There were 4 members in all, including Narue, and one of their members was a guy. With that many members, they were actually the largest group in the 4 Stars Club.
人の手の温かみが感じられていいですね。
Kesuke looked more like he was built to play rugby, but he was the head of Morimisawa Tech's Club. They had all their members present today too. All 3 of them were just as big as Keisuke, which made for quite the sight. I was so used to being in a club full of girls, so I was kind of glad that there were so many guys present.
おや、かよいずまちゃんたちが何かやってるぞ。なんだろうあれ。
All the students that were heading home after school or headed to their club activities were starting to take an interest in us. There we were, a group made up of 7 different school uniforms, gathered around some giant contraption. We were bound to draw attention.
ねえねえ、かよいずまちゃん、これ何してるの？
天体望遠鏡を組み立ててるんです。
え、このなんかの寄せ集めみたいなのが天体望遠鏡なの？
I could tell she was about to call it a mishmash of trash. Each one of the schools had used their own scrap materials to make each of the parts. And as if that wasn't enough, all the parts were different colors, making it look even more like a bunch of junk. Hey, it's an aesthetic.
へえ、そういや、かよいずまちゃんの彼氏ってうちの天文部なんだっけ？
いえ、彼氏じゃ。
The ears of the 6 Stars Club members all perked upon hearing these girls talk about Saya's boyfriend.
あのお二人、やっぱりそういう関係だったんですね。
Like I knew it! I knew it! That was so obvious! They're like, we're not, though.
まあ、だろうね。私は分かってたよ。
I literally is the case now.
というか、何ですか？かよいずま。
じゃあね、かよいずまちゃん、またね。
はい、さようなら。
After she was done staring at her feet for a moment, Saya looked up to find everyone's eyes on her.
なんでしょう。
別に。
かよいずま。
ねえねえ、さやにかよいずまさせてんの？
I didn't make her! I think! I was quick to deny it, but after thinking for a moment, it probably was my fault that she earned such a nickname. Anyway, let's just focus on finishing this thing. figured it would be best to get back to work before I said something I would regret. The partially built Upzonian telescope was absolutely enormous. Wasn't it supposed to be like easy to carry? Also, that looks fine. That looks hella good even. Like, are those actually like they made this like partially of wood? I think. Like that looks really nice. Sorry about that. Like this looks good, doesn't it?
教頭は骨組みだけなんだ。
郊外へ出て観測するなら邪魔な光が入ってくることもありませんからね。
When we think of a telescope, you probably imagine something like a pipe, but that's not always the case. The Upzonian we were putting together lacked a lens tube and used only a frame with primary and secondary mirror. The cylindrical tubes on telescopes were made to prevent any extra light from coming in from the sides, which would negatively impact image quality. But it also created airflow within the body, which has an impact on image quality too. Upzonian telescopes are dependent on location, but if you use them in a dark area, you don't have to worry about the light. And by omitting the barrel, you also don't have to worry about airflow. Plus, it'll be lighter.
ここに主鏡をはめ込むのね。
We tried to picture what the complete telescope would be like when we were looking at our frame. We tried to picture what the completed telescope would look like while looking at our frame. It was a bit clunky and definitely looked handmade, like a telescope made of junk. Most of the curious people who came to see what we were working on probably couldn't even tell it was a telescope at all. But it was almost so shoddy looking that it was actually cool. Like it's an aesthetic. We probably couldn't expect a whole lot in the ways of image quality, but I was sure that at that point everyone was thinking just one thing: what will the skies above look like through our telescope? We'd worked so hard to polish and build it, so the stars we saw through it were sure to be special. Everyone was probably letting their minds run wild. Even someone like me, the astronomer who never looks at the stars, was excited.
寸法が合わない部分がありますね。調整は僕らでやりましょうか。
そうしていただけるとスムーズで良いかと。
そうだ、写真。
And then, as if on command, one of the younger Nishi High students pulled out a camera from their bag.
ロブソニアンだけだと大きさが想像しづらいから誰か横に立ってみて。姫さんがいいかな。
これでよろしくて。
いいね。
そうブログのアクセスが最近伸びてるんですよ。ジーナさんの写真のおかげでしょうか。
ブログに載ってる写真すごく綺麗に撮れてますよね。
We also have to thank Noriko for updating it so regularly too. Noriko was a bit of a beginner and didn't really have much to offer in building the telescope, so she focused on updating the blog. The posts were brief, easy to read, and really captured the surprise and excitement that only a real beginner could offer. Noriko Inigari School, Amahai, was right on the southern border of Fushinonaka and was the closest school to the city. As it wasn't the best location for watching the stars, Amahai's astronomy club focused more on reading books and using computers. I guess that explains why they weren't so good at the technical sort of stuff. So with Narue's pictures in the mix, people just start to take an interest in our activities. Or it could also be because the first thing uploaded was a picture of the lovely Orihime polishing a lens with a serious look on her face. Either way, more views was good news. Even our mistakes had turned out well in the end. Hold on.
この前はブログのコメント欄のおかげで助かりました。
Someone had looked over our plans and left a comment with some advice for us. They even answered questions we had and helped us avoid making a few mistakes. There were even people from other astronomy clubs who dropped in to show their support, which really helped us keep motivated.
最初は日に20アクセスもあればいいところでしたが、今では1日平均100件を超えてます。
Back at the beginning, those 20 hits were mostly just club members, so when you take that into account, we'd really come a long way. Orihime's face lit up at Honoka's comment.
世界中が私たちに注目している。
100 is not yet the whole world.
ムツラ星の会の存在をあまねく世界へ知らしめましょう。
世界姫ちゃんたちすごい。
そうね。
Everyone except for Corona seemed less than excited. But this wasn't the first time they'd all had this conversation. Every time Honoka mentioned it, the whole scenario would repeat itself.
試供の研磨作業はどの程度進んでいますか？
Honoka was looking over the construction charts on her tablet. We finished cutting it and now are working on the surface. Since that's done, it'll just need a bit of pitch polishing, and then we'll be set for a focal test. A focal test is used to determine if the surface is paraboloidal. It allows you to see shadows and the small dips and bumps in the seemingly flat mirror, which you can then smooth out in into a finishing product. We borrowed the equipment we needed for the test, and Keisuke also got some help in making the last wooden box piece. Okay, once it's all done, we just need our instructor, to take a look and approve it for us. Then we can send it in to get coded. Plating was the only part we couldn't do ourselves, so we had to ask the pros instead. That was the last step needed to complete the
隊
telescope.
長、そろそろよろしいのでは？
Rime nodded to Honoka's prompt.
ファーストライトの具体的な計画を立てましょう。
っていうと、何を見るかだね。
Everyone started thinking long and hard after hearing Narue's words. When a Dubzonian was finished, what would we see? What did we want to see? And more importantly, what would we be able to see? We should start with something easy, right?
課題の精度も低いだろうし、目当てのことを探すのも一苦労でしょうね。
だったら
はい、ひかりさん。
Hi,
クリス
Video.
マスイブの夜がいいと思います。
はあ？望遠鏡でサンタクロースでも探そうっての？
じゃなくて、その日にやれば人も集めやすいじゃないですか。クリスマスイブの星空を見ようとか言って、ムツラ星の会のメンバー以外も人を呼んで、大勢で観測会やったらいいんじゃないかな。
Everyone just sort of stared at
あ
Hikari.
れ、私なんかまずいこと言って。それですわ。
Orime grabbed her hand and started shaking it over and over.
それこそ私が考えていたムツラ星の会。より多くの人に関心を持ってもらおうっていうのが会の目的ですもんね。そういった名目なら人を集めやすいと思います。
次の日から冬休みだしね。
I pulled out my phone to see what the skies would be like on the 24th. Moon would set sometime in the afternoon, so the skies would be perfect that night.
クリスマスイブの星空。ロマンチックでいいですね。そこで星の解説などをやれば関心を持つ人が増えるかもしれませんね。
じゃあいっそクリスマスツリー星団でも見てみるかい？
何それ見たい。そんなのあるの？それにこの子もいます。
So I panicked upon suddenly being singled
じゃ
out.
なくて、
Hikari raised her arm a little bit to point past
ど
Saya.
こにいる？ええ、だってほら。
Hikari gestured at all the people that had gathered around us. I hadn't noticed, but we were basically surrounded. Everyone seemed to be taking an interest in what this big thing in front of us was. They had no idea it was a telescope, but just the sheer size and look of it drew them in. I guess our Dubzonian telescope is the only billboard we really need.
当日は集まってくれた人たちにも見てもらえばいいんじゃないかな。
みんな驚くだろうね。自分たちで作った望遠鏡で星を見たことなんてないだろうから。
いかがでしょう、隊長。満天の星に彩られた聖なる夜。採用ですわ。場所は前にほうき星さんに教えてもらったあそこでしょうか。だとすると、あの吹きさらしの山の斜面でどうやって寒さをしのぐかですね。
We'll have to not only worry about ourselves, but also about the general public that has no experience stargazing out on cold winter nights. How about we set up
アウ
tents?
トドア方面はアキトにお任せだね。
I'm not sure we have enough though, and rentals would cost money. There were only so many we could set up too. I thought it over a bit more before speaking up. You know, we have a place that could work. Took Sai a moment to realize what she was, that she was part of we, but when she did, she suddenly nodded her head in agreement. You're fine with it too, right, Hikari?
あるでしょ。星を見るのにちょうどいい場所が。
There's a place I want to show you all. You guys have a moment? Everyone nodded hesitantly in agreement, still unconvinced. After we finished taking down the Dobsonian telescope, I led the entire Six Star Club out to that old familiar place. It was a little far, but everyone stuck along to see where we would be setting up. Still, though, we had to cross a dam, climb up the mountain, and make our way through the dark forest, so people were definitely spooked. But that was only until we got there. The sky was painted painted brilliantly orange as we made it up the mountain. Here we are.
なんですのここ。
駅だけど、人がいない。無人駅だからってわけじゃないよね。
Really does look kind of magical, with like the nature slowly but surely reclaiming it all. Everyone was both a little surprised and impressed as they looked over the crumbling station at the train that stood still in front of us. It used to be an unmanned station, but that's not why no one is here.
ずっと前にこの先の線路が流されて、それ以来使われてないんです。
Everyone watched in silence as Hikari, Sai, and I headed up onto the platform. The three of us looked back at them from up top. So this place is...
私たちの秘密の天文台。
This is where the Mikazuki Astronomy Club was based.
ここで星を。
The rest of them stayed a little ways away, staring at the abandoned train car.
素敵な場所。物語の舞台みたい。
廃墟だけど車両があるせいかなんだかまだ生きているみたいですね。
あの観測ノートはここで書かれたのね。
Yeah.
こんな場所だったんだ。アキ兄たちの秘密基地。
Corona said in a somewhat lonely tone. She had always wanted to come out here with us, but it was dangerous enough during the day, never mind in the dark at night, so I was sure her mom would have had a fit if we took her with us. Eventually, we just kind of stopped spending time with her. Well, come on then. Get on up here. Rime grabbed my hand timidly as I reached down to help her up. Once she'd made her way to the platform, the others began to follow. Welcome inside, too.
ほんとだ。中綺麗。
昔はよくここで一緒に寝たよね。
冬場の天体観測もテントいらずだったわね。
After we cleaned up a bit, all we needed were blankets, and we could stay plenty warm through the night in here. We get to see the opposite part of the sky from over there, too. Between here and there, we pretty much had a full view of the night sky.
いいのではないでしょうか。隊長、素敵です。こんな場所で星を見るなんて。
でもいいのかしら。
Rima said with a small frown. What do you mean?
ここはあなたたち3人の大切な場所なんでしょ。そこへ我々が大勢で押しかけて、観測会当日は知らない方々もいらっしゃいますわ。
The three of us glanced quickly at each other.
いいんじゃないかな。
うん、別にいいよね。
There you have it. It's not like we ever wanted this to just be our place. We just never had anyone else to take out here with us.
では使わせてもらいますわ。ここでみんなで星を見ましょう。
ええ。
やったー。はい。
楽しみだな。
どうしたのコロナ。
やっとコロナも仲間に入れてもらえたんだなって。
Kari patted her on the head, messing up her hair.
よろしくね。
ピカリン。
Hikari readied her hand into a hand for a karate chop.
冗談だよ、ひかりちゃん。
And with that, a whole lot of us came together and made preparations for our first light test. Oh, back to elementary. It was right at the start of 6th grade winter break.
だからダメだって言ってんだろ。
ねえ、どうしてダメなの？ねえ、ね
Takichi and Korono were arguing out in front of
う
Saotome.
るせ
Takichi's fist came down on onto Korono's head.
え。お兄ちゃんがぶった！
ったく、泣くんじゃねえよ、めんどくせえ。
Takichi stood in front of his crying sister, looking frustrated. Korono, are you okay? She turned to me, her sad expression gone as she ran over to me.
アキニーだ、アキニーだ！
Looking at her, you wouldn't believe she'd just been bawling her eyes out moments ago. She was always quick to cry, but quick to perk back up too.
ねえねえ、聞いて！お兄ちゃんが意地悪するの！
Being mean?
コロナも一緒に連れてってって言っても連れてってくんないの。やっぱしコロナはのけ者なんだ。
I look over at Takeichi, his face still
別
crossed.
に俺は悪くねえ。妹なんかと一緒に遊べるかよ。また母ちゃんにどやされる。
Boys our age seemed to get into a lot of dangerous situations. And with Takeichi as the head of the local ruffians, he loved doing everything the adults told him not to. Why don't you just do something Korona can do too?
嫌だね。ガキどもになんてしてられるかっての。それよりカード。
With an air of indifference towards us, he tore into the crunchy chocolate bar he'd just bought.
また悪魔じゃん。くそー。
コロナと同じだ。
うるせ
Took the cards and tossed the chocolate at Korona.
くれるの？
え。やるから絶対ついてくんなよ。
And with that, he just ran off, leaving his sister behind.
アキニーは行かないの？
Nah, I never said I was gonna hang out with him anyway.
じゃあコロナと一緒に遊ぼう。遊んでくれるならこのチョコあげる。
Nah, you can have it.
でも出ないとアキニーもコロナと遊んでくんないでしょ？
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. That's not true.
やっぱりアキニーってば優しい。うちのお兄ちゃんとは全然違うよ。
Takichi was just trying to look out for his sister by not getting her into anything dangerous. Although it seems he did it because he didn't want to make his parents
ア
mad.
キニーは買わないの？パックリマンチョコ。
Of course I am. Went and bought a crunchy chocolate bar from the old lady at Saotome and opened it up.
何出た？
A charm! Home run boost!
いいなあ、足りだ。
Time after time, Takichi would leave Korona behind, and the two of us would hang out like this. But our age gap was pretty big, so it never really grew into anything more than that. It's not really big. Isn't she like only one year younger? Still though, she always thought of me as a nice older brother sort of figure. Back to the present, apparently. Probably. Yes.
どれがいいかな。やっぱし可愛いのがいいよね。
It's actually quite a cute outfit. Korona was seated at the cafe space at the convenience store with a bunch of pamphlets spread out in front of her. I peeked and saw that they were the cell phone providers. 4 cell phone providers. They covered with colorful cell phones, all competing to catch your attention with this or that new feature.
ねえねえ、アキニー、ちょっといい？確かスマホだったよね。どんなの使ってるかコロナに見せて。
Sure, here. Pulled out my cell phone out of my apron pocket and handed it over to
な
her.
るほど。アキニーのはこういうのか。普通だけど、なんかかっこいいね。
It's just the cheapest one they had.
いいじゃん、それでも似合ってるんだし。
You just called him a cheap motherfucker. That was probably the first time I'd ever heard a phone suiting someone. Anyways, are you planning on getting a phone or something? As far as I knew, she didn't even have a flip phone, let alone a smartphone. But she came all the way out here to talk to me about it, even though the place is pretty far from her
今
house.
交渉中なんだ。クリスマスに買ってもらおうと思ってるの。みんなと連絡取ろうと思ったらやっぱし必要だもんね。実はこの前姫ちゃんに連絡先聞かれちゃって。
Hime? Who was that? Since when was there someone like that around us? You know, I actually forgot her name. Wow, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a goddamn disgrace. Orihime. I forgot the Uri. Do you actually see the red on my forehead now? Anyways,
あのおっぱいの大きい綺麗なお姉さんだよ。
Oh, Orihime! That was pretty easy to figure out once you thought about it. But I wondered why Corona called her Hime in the first place.
姫ちゃんって呼んだら喜んでくれたんだよ。これからもぜひそう呼んでくださいねって。
That sounds like Orihime for you. She was probably happy to have a younger girl calling her by some cute nickname.
でもやっぱり失礼かな。先輩ってつけた方がいい？
Nah. She says herself that she liked it, right?
だよね。
She smiled and nodded, her face covered in an excited smile. I was sure she liked that nickname just as much as Orihime did.
姫ちゃんは姫ちゃんだもんね。これからもじゃんじゃん姫ちゃんって呼ぶことにする。
Orihime would be sure to get a kick out of it too. Both of them would be pleased. You know, just don't call Hikari Pikarin anymore. She went back to mulling over the pamphlets. I decided to give her some advice while I cleaned up the coffee server.
違いがさっぱりわかんない。
If that's the case, why not just pick one you think looks nice?
それもそうなんだけどね。
Looked like she'd cut it down to just a couple options. She had little tags sticking out to mark the phones she liked.
アキ兄はこっちとこっちどっちがいい？
One was a popular model from Company A, and the other was a slightly older model from Company S. Company A, really? If you're going for price, then the S one. If you want more features, though, then A, probably.
ってことはアキ兄なら A 社だ。
Oh, quiet, I'd go for the S. I'm sure that she was aware of my constant lack of funds. Anyway, no matter what you pick, you should still be able to use chat apps. You should trust your instincts.
そうだね。じゃあ直感で選んでみる。
And with that, she went back to staring at the catalog. She seemed really serious about this whole thing.
そうだ、アキ兄。
He said as if she'd just recalled
絶
something.
対スマホ買ってもらえるように頑張るから。そしたら通話アプリの ID 教えてね。
Sure, no problem. For Corona, getting her first smartphone was probably a big step in becoming part of the group. She'd always been like this, really. Speaking of, what did you do when Orihime asked for your number?
一応家電の番号を教えておいたよ。でも家に電話しにくかったらアキ兄に連絡してって。
Wait, me, not Take?
姫ちゃんがお兄ちゃんに連絡するのなんか嫌だし。あんなおっぱいの美人さん、お兄ちゃんにはもったいないよ。
Now that was something I couldn't argue with. That is a nice outfit. Orihime moved a heavy-looking box to the edge of the platform. Today, all available 6 Stars Club member had gathered to help clean up our secret observatory. We were getting rid of all the stuff, along with sweeping, wiping, and making the place nice and clean. Once that was done, we were going to bring in blankets and cushions, paper cups, plastic dinnerware, and other tableware. We were doing all we could to make the place nice and cozy. It was all in preparation for our big event.
いざ始めてみると結構な量があるわね。
She wiped her sweat with a handkerchief. Looked like she was a bit out of breath. You could just leave the heavy lifting to me, you know. Tried to subtly hint that she didn't need to work so hard.
平気よ。これ式の荷物。
She tried to flex, but it was hard to make anything out through the coat.
姫ちゃんプニプニだ。
いきなり揉まないでくだ
ださい。
Coronet stuck up behind her and grabbed her upper arm.
会話だけ聞くとなんかエッチいわね。
Definitely. Kari and I just nodded at each other.
外に出したものは全部処分しても OK でしょうか？
That, once again, also very nice outfit. Her eyes make me feel uncomfortable though. I don't know what it is. It's like she's staring into my soul constantly. Yeah, it's just been sitting here for years
こ
anyway.
の箱はこちらに置いても平気ですか？
Here, I'll stack them up. The way Noriko was holding it, I thought it would be super heavy, but it really wasn't that bad. Now that I thought about it, though, I was the only guy here in this whole group.
こっちのやつ捨てちゃっていいか確認してくれる？
She wanted me to make sure. All the stuff we'd gathered up here was once our secret treasure, but now that we'd all grown up, it was just a bunch of junk. Most of it was just random stuff Hikari had brought in, but there were some of my and Saya's stuffs
こ
too.
んなにいっぱい集めたんだね。
The boxes were filled with all sorts of random stuff. Yes, definitely it wasn't done by the methodical Saya. It was all Hikari. Oh wow, remember this? I'd forgotten all about this stuff, but one look was enough to bring the memories
見
back.
てよ、クッキー缶にクヌギのどんぐりばっかり大量に入ってる。
Those are sawtooth acorns. They're super cool.
オニヤンマには負けるよ。
Couldn't argue with that. They could even take down giant hornets. So we had always admired how fierce they were.
見てこれ、アキトがサヤにあげた石だ。
あー、懐かしいね。水切りが上手にできる石だっけ？
Yeah, but you tucked it away forever instead.
だっていい形してたんだもん。
So I smiled and tucked the stone away. Now then, what else have we got here? Whoa! What is this? The box was just full of some brown or something or other.
松ぼっくりだよね。
And our box filled with pine cones. Who collected all these pine cones? This was definitely Kari, I thought to myself as my eyes followed after her.
私じゃないってば。さすがにこれは違うし。
No matter how many collect, they aren't gonna transform into sea urchins, you know?
当たり前じゃない。私をバカにしてんの？
Something tells me you are. No, I mean, did you say something like that once? Something like pine cones are the sea urchins, are the urchins of the mountains, and one day they'll grow and make their way back to the sea. Someone had made a joke like that back when we were kids. Maybe it was Takichi, or was it someone else?
それ私の。
Saya held her hands up with an embarrassed look on her face.
この松ぼっくり、サヤが集めたの？
ごめんね、よくわかんないことして。
集めた理由わかんないの？
Let me guess. Sea urchins. We had a winner.
おかしいよね。松ぼっくりはウニじゃないのに。
いたいけなサヤを一体誰が騙したの？
光だよ。
So it was you! So the legend of the mountain urchins really was another of Hikari's crazy ideas then.
全く記憶にございません。でも深く謝罪いたします。
Hikari gave a deep bow towards Saya. This entire game is just like nostalgia trip. Like just digging through your old stuff, just being absolutely fucking embarrassed at what you see. Like that's what this game is up until this point. Her twin ponytails shook as she did so.
許してくれる？
許す。さやー、好きだー。私も大好きだよ、光。
Saya warmly accepted a hug from Hikari. They were just as close as ever. They had a couple of years apart, but they'd had a couple of years apart, but seeing them here and now, it was like that had never happened.
それでこのウニじゃなかった松ぼっくりはどうする？
アキトくんにあげる。
No thanks, I'm good.
サヤのプレゼントだよ。 たとえ泥団子だって美味しく食べなきゃいけないのに。
Oh, give me a break already.
もうしょうがないな。さすがに捨てるのはもったいないし。
そうだ、いいこと思いついた。
She smiled suddenly, like the Hikari I'd known for so long, and headed out of the train.
おーい、コロナ、いいものあげるからこっち来なさーい。
いいものって松ぼっくりだよね。
What a jerk.
コロナ来ました。ねえねえ、何くれるの？サーヤが丹精込めて育てた山のウニよ。ウニ？育てたの？
She wasn't quite the liar Hikari was. Don't fall for that, it's just a bunch of pine cones.
確かに松ぼっくりだ。今は松ぼっくりちゃんだけど、大事に育てたら美味しいウニになるんだよ。
さすがに諦めなよ、光。
So I just couldn't watch Hikari try to play this off on Corona.
もしかしてコロナを騙したの？ひどいよ、ピカリ。ただの松ぼっくりにそんな付加価値つけるなんて。
確かに今のはひどいよね。
Hikari finally realized that she was on her own on this.
ピカリのバカ！犯罪者って。だって詐欺だもん。松ぼっくりはウニじゃないもん。
Whoops. Corona angrily grabbed some pine cones from the box
な
and sent them flying at Hikari. She managed to dodge them, but pine cones were flying all over the place.
ほら、やめなさい。やめてたまるか。うわあ。
Corona had begun chasing Hikari.
楽しそうだね。
Really? Are you kidding me? We're supposed to be cleaning, but this is just making a bigger mess. Vorime had to catch us like this.
何をやってるんですか？
It was Honoka who found us instead. They didn't say anything else, but just froze up in place and watched me pick up all the pine cones. Sorry, these idiots made a real
別
mess.
に構いませんけど、まあまあ、吉岡もそんな顔しないで。
Vorime came walking in from
それより
behind
も
her.
散らかったものを片付けますわよ。もちろんやってくれますわよね。
The way she spoke left no room for anyone to decline.
すみませんでした。ごめんなさい、姫ちゃん。
Even the two culprits apologized to her. Just like Saya, Vorime was one person you didn't want to get mad, though in an entirely different way.
反省したのなら結構よ。
I really like Orihime's outfit. It looks really good.
それより回収したこれは箱ごと処分でいいかしら？
Wait, let's save the pine cones.
騙されちゃダメだよ、アキに。松ぼっくりはウニにならないんだから。
Yeah, no kidding. Fuck. That's not what I'm talking about. Dried pine cones are great for building fires. If we hang on to them, we can probably use them on our first light event. Newspaper would work fine too, but since we already had all these, we might as well use them. It was always good to have an emergency heat source when coming out here at night.
松ぼっくりを焚き付けに？全く知りませんでしたわ。
That's not something most people probably spend any time thinking about anyway. I only knew because I'd run into a tight spot where I needed to use them. It was something to brag about. It wasn't anything to brag about.
でも私たちに全く無縁の知識とは言えないわ。それなのに私は知らないことばかりで。
It wasn't really a big deal one way or the other. Well, you'll do fine if you remember from here on out, right?
そうですわね。むつら星の会にはきっと必要な知識ですから。
Good to know the upcoming first light, and good to know for the upcoming first light, and from here on out too. The more activities we get involved in, the more everyone will learn.
空見くん、一ついいかしら。
Sure, what is it?
空見くん、あなたはその、いえ、やっぱり何もあ
No!
りません。
No! No!
忘れてください。
Fucking say it! I'm curious now! Seems like she wanted to say something but wasn't But without more information than that, there wasn't much point in worrying about it. Ow!
アキ兄たちの天文クラブはここで活動してたんだ。
Corona seemed to take a keen interest in the old train car. A little cleanup had already come a long way, but the place didn't bear much resemblance to its older looks.
あんたこの前もここに来たじゃないの。
あの時は中をちゃんと見る時間なかったから。
Here we were again in our little secret hideout. This place had been sacred to us, and we had never allowed even Corona to come out here before. Funny, coming out here must have been a pretty emotional event for her.
すっごいな。
It's nothing that impressive, really. This place used to seem really cool once upon a time. But these days, didn't see much more than a rusty old train. It was all busted up and dusty, with winds creeping in from every crack and hole. The only thing here worth anything at all would have been our observational journey. Compared to that, everything else was just a bunch of junk. Is it really starting up again? Fucking sneezes.
いいな。なんか羨ましい。
She had probably always wondered why we never let her be part of our group, even though we were just a year apart. We never had a satisfied answer for her back then, though.
それでどうすんの？
Chrono was a bit lost in thought, but he gotta ask her a question anyway.
コロナが決めていいの？
私は昔からそう言ってたつもりだけど。
Kari had never been too easy on Corona. She was always telling her to decide things for herself. And it looked like that was something that hadn't changed.
コロナはやっぱりみんなの仲間に入りたい。
Hold on. That's why she wanted to get a phone. Who even knows how she managed to get in touch with Orihime today to come out here and help?
もう遅いかな。
Of course not.
そうそう。
I mean, in a way, she's a bit too late because Hikari's gonna be gone in by the end of the month. I had never expected we'd be back out at this train again. But yeah, we were again, just like old times. Because it's not exactly the same as before, but still it felt familiar enough.
よーし、それじゃあ。くさかべこのなと。
What's she doing? She used a rock to carve her name into the wall of the train. The beating paint gave way under the rock, showing the metal underneath.
私たちも昔似たようなことしたっけ？
I'm pretty sure we just used markers. We didn't go crazy and carve up the walls.
どこだったかな。もう消えちゃってると思うけど。
Even if it was permanent marker, the years probably withered it away to nothing but a memory. Names we wrote back then would never show themselves on these walls again.
できたっと。アキ兄たちはどうする？
待ってください。それでは片手落ちですわ、コロナさん。
That had come from a voice I wasn't expecting to hear.
片手落ちって何か足りなかったかな。
不足しているものが一つあります。それは二つ名ですわ。プレアデス七姉妹の末の妹、メローペよ。
なるほど。そう、私はメローペ。
Oh boy. Corona took the stone in her hand again, but
ど
stopped.
うしました？
メローペってカタカナじゃまずいよね。
Not quite the problem I was anticipating.
こんなところですわね。
We finished up our cleaning and headed outside. Gets dark out pretty quickly this time of year, so we should probably get back. We'd loaded all the boxes of junk onto the cart we'd brought with us. Now we just have to bring it back down with us.
台車だと坂道が不安ですね。それなら心配には及びませんわ。先ほど車を手配しましたので。
Awesome, thanks,
あ
Orihime.
と15分もすれば到着するそうです。
15 minutes was nothing compared to how much of a pain it would have been to push the cart the whole way.
お腹すいた。そうだね。何か食べてく？
早乙女の豚まんが食べたいな。
He said while looking pleadingly my way. But I was not about to let her fool me like that. Just so you know, I only work part-time, so I can't cover you.
やっぱ私じゃ無理だったか。さや、出番だよ。
アキト君は誘惑すればいいの？
そうそう。上目遣いでおねだりおねだり。
それじゃあ。あっくん、お願い。
That was almost too much to handle!
なんて可愛い。さすが私のさや。いいよいいよ。私が買ってあげる。豚まんでも唐揚げちゃんでもなんでもいいよ。
So that backfired. Looks like Hikari gave in before I did. Suppose that is what they mean when the hunter became the by the hunter becoming the hunted.
私は別にいいよ。
Saya said, somewhat troubled by Hikari's reaction.
まあいいか。私は豚まん買うけど、さやはどうする？
豚まんはやめとこうかな。早乙女のは美味しいけど、ちょっと大きすぎるから。
Doesn't look like you'll be sharing one with Hikari.
もちろん。私は全部食べられるし。
That was Hikari for you.
なら私と半分ずつ食べませんか？
いいの？
私も半分くらいなら食べたいなって思いましたので。
That's surprising coming from Honoka. What about Horihime? I figured that if we shared with anyone, if she shared with anyone, it would be Horihime.
会長ならあっちです。いいですか、コロナさん。いえ、末の妹メローペよ。
Horihime broke into a speech while staring out at the night sky.
メローペとはプレアデス7姉妹の一人。そのプレアデスの神話はご存知かしら？
よく知らない。
ならば少しだけ語って差し上げましょう。プレアデスの7姉妹は巨人アトラスと妖精プレヨーネとの間に生まれました。彼女たちはとても仲良しで、月の女神アルテミスに仕えていたそうです。ある日、姉妹が森で遊んでいたところ、一人の狩人がやってきました。その狩人は名をオリオンと言います。オリオンは美しい姉妹に一目惚れしてしまうのです。
Orihime continued her story of Pleiades, making full use of her melodramatic voice. It was like watching a real Greek tragedy. The area was slowly transformed into the world of the gods she spoke of. You're a fucking idiot, Hikari. After parting ways with Orihime and the other members, we sat down to enjoy our pork buns.
まだちょっと暑すぎるよ。
You're also a fucking idiot, Korona. Unlike Hikari, Korona wasn't quite able to go right at it. It's best if you pull it apart and let it cool down a bit.
そうする。おつゆが溢れる。
ほら、こうして。
So I took the split half and put it underneath. It would stop it from dripping on the ground.
ありがとう。
どういたしまして。
Korona seemed a little on edge, but Saya was just smiling at her. Just like I'd expect of both of them.
美味しかった。
Korona said as she finished and relaxed a
ね
bit.
え、コロナ。さっきはかなり興奮してたみたいだけど。どう？メローペとしての自覚はできた？もちろん。コロナはメローペ。7姉妹の末っ子。
She was still as intense as always, even after eating. Orihime's story must have really awakened something within her. Looks like you had fun then. Orihime really has a way with words, so that's no surprise.
声も綺麗だよね。住んでてよく通るし。
さやだって負けてないよ。いい声してるじゃん。
姫ちゃんの方がすごいもん。
Like, they're both very soothing voices, but each in their own respect. Although it had only been a few moments of conversations, it appeared that Korona was already a zealous Orihime follower.
ひかりちゃんも聞いてたよね、さっきの姫ちゃんのお話。だったら姫ちゃんが一番だってわかるでしょ。全然比較にもなんないんだから。
いいや、うちのさやが最高だって。
私も白鳥さんにはかなわないと思うな。
さや、もっと自信持って。私のさやは最高に可愛いんだから。
When it comes to cuteness, yeah, she's cuter than Orihime. I do, however, think that Orihime is prettier than her. If you think his overall looks, Saya's still ahead. Actually, I'd say it's on like somewhat even if we like tally up cuteness, beauty, and sexiness. Like if we all tally up those three kind of categories of looks, then I do believe they are somewhat even out. Like if we take out sexiness, then yeah, Saya is more beautiful. But like is the better looking one, I mean. Like if it came to cuteness, Saya. If it came to beauty or sexiness, then what do you mean? Anyways. Sounds like they're comparing two different things here, but Hikari just won't stop until everyone sees her favorite little Saya as number one of everything.
姫ちゃんが一番だし、さやが一番だってば。
Jesus Christ. And suddenly it was like a fight between two predators. You know, they both have pretty nice voices.
アキトくん。
どっちつかずの発言に喜んじゃダメだよ、さや。
アキ兄の裏切り者。
Who did I betray? I was just being perfectly honest. Would have been hard to pick one or the other.
プレアデスの7人目、メローペか。
ピカリンは気になる？
まあね。ムツラ星の回は文字通りスバルの6連星を意味するから。
That meant that she, the seventh star, wouldn't be included. Wondered if Korona understood the significance behind that.
っていうか、またピカリンって呼んだな。
Hikari's karato chop landed hard on Korona's forehead. Korona's head, I mean.
頭蓋骨が陥没する。
うわ、もしかしていいとこ入っちゃった？ねえ、コロナ、大丈夫？
なんてね。
あんた、私を騙したの？たくもう、心配したじゃない。
大丈夫だよ。コロナは頑丈だから。
なら、もう一発お見舞いしても平気ね。
ひかりちゃん、その顔怖いってば。
Hikari was ready to lash out again with a flurry of chops.
あれ、チョップじゃない。
そう何度もチョップしないわよ。
She was petting Korona on the head this time instead.
チョップよりもこっちの方がいいね。
はいはい。
She continued petting her. Hikari seemed more like a big sister to her.
ひかりちゃん。
何？
呼んでみただけ。
Seemed like Korona was really enjoying herself. It was probably just what she'd been looking for when she joined us.
そうだ、君。ファーストライトだっけ？みんなで星を見るやつ。コロナも絶対参加するからね。アキ兄たちの作ったでっかいので星を見るんだから。
We're gonna go until 3 hours and then I'm gonna stop, I think. And so, our work on the Dobzonian and preparations for the event came together steadily. Once we had the date set for Christmas Eve, everyone was really able to focus and get things done. One day towards the end of the semester, as we were finishing up our work.
これが、そうなのですか？おー。
All of us gasped at the large circular, securely wrapped package resting before us. Here goes then. A pulled away the packaging material to reveal the newly coated primary mirror. The ancient one's evil eye, previously a big piece of junk, had come back reborn and perfectly smooth.
ついにドブソニアンの最後のパーツが揃ったのですわね。
あとはこれを組み立てるだけで完成ということでしょうか。
だよね。
That should be it, yeah. Keisuke from Moromisawa was in charge of construction, so I couldn't really say for sure, but I was pretty confident.
じゃあもうすぐ望遠鏡ができちゃうってこと？
Yep, you got it!
ついに私たちだけの天体望遠鏡が。そうだ、ブログに掲載できるよう開封の儀を写真に撮っておかないと。はいはい、私撮るよ。
Naruto wasn't here with us today, so Hikari took pictures with her phone instead. The coating on the lens really was something else. Looking at our reflection on the perfectly smooth surface, you wouldn't have believed that we had made it ourselves.
星の光を集めるんだ。
こんな大きな鏡ならきっと小さな星の光も余さず集めてくれますわ。
Let's talk with Keisuke soon about when we can finally put this thing together. It was finally exam season, but we really needed to get this done. This thing done.
よろしくお願いします。楽しみだね。
早く観測会したいね。
With that, we finally had the last piece to our plans. Actually, I'm kind of interested how Orihime's route is going to end up going, because, you know... Oh, near the end of elementary. Your jacket still sucks! Anyways, so I'm actually kind of curious about how Orihime's route is even going to go, because, you know, she's going to be out of school, so... Wow, it really does have rings. They go all the way around the planet, too. Cool.
どれ？私も見たい。ねえねえ。
Jeez, relax. Relax, jeez. Here.
ああ、輪っかついてるね。かっこいい。あの黒いね。
Whoops. Hold on.
ああ、輪っかついてるね。かっこいい。あの黒い線がカッシーニ空撃かな。
私も見たい。
ちょっと待って、今いいとこだから。
光ずるい。私も。
This planet has ears. That's what Galileo Galilei said when he first looked at Saturn. He constructed it with his very own 30 times magnification telescope, and was the first person to look so far out into the night sky. And then, only half a century later, Huygens discovered that those ears were actually a ring. He said to be one of the inventors. He is said to be one of the inventors of the aerial telescope. Next, Cassini discovered that the ring actually had spaces in between. In observing this, this Cassini division, he used a gigantic 46-meter-long aerial telescope. Now we were looking at those very same rings. This tiny telescope.
あの輪って小さな塵や氷が集まって土星の周りを回ってるんだよね。
輪の一番外にある隙間がカシーニ空撃なんだって。
すごいね、望遠鏡って。
すごいね。
Now we can see, with our very own eyes, stars that sit across the vastness of space. And we can see them so clearly, too. It's almost like magic. Wonder what it would look like with an even larger telescope.
スバルみたいな。
違うよ。一番すごいのはハッブル宇宙望遠鏡だよ。だって宇宙にあるんだもん。
Now, here we were, looking out at stars that Galileo could only have dreamt of seeing. And it still wasn't enough for us. But he must have felt the same way. Him, Huygens, Cassini, and every other astronomer. I was sure that they all wished they could look out even farther and see it all even closer. If only there was a telescope that could bring the stars to our very hands. Back to the present. Back to the present. But first, the unavoidable enemy of every student: final exams. Once these were out of the way, though, we would have a nice long winter break to look forward to. The members of the 6 Stars clubs were focused on their exams, while eagerly anticipating our stargazing event. The only thing we had left to do was tackle our tests, and maybe do a little sun dance for good luck or something.
今週はずっと晴れたり曇ったりだね。
もういいそう。今のうちに土砂降りになって、当日は綺麗さっぱり晴れてほしい。
天気ばかりはどうしようもありませんね。
祈りましょう。天に。
そんなことより光、試験勉強ちゃんとした？心置きなく星を楽しむためにはテストの結果も大事だよ。
こんな場所でまでお母さんみたいなこと言わないで。
It's true, though. We could just get a storm to clear things out. We'd be all set. Drew a little Teru sunshine amulet on the margins of my answer sheet. Wondered if it would be able to help us hold off the rain. The date for our stargazing event was Christmas Eve, the day after our tests and the last day of the semester. When was the last time I'd ever been so excited for Christmas? Since my parents passed away, it pretty much meant nothing to me. We keep our eyes on the subtle changes and weather reports as we made more and more Teru sunshine amulets each day. And then one day, a gentle winter rain washed in, with gloomy clouds overhead to reflect the gloom and doom of our tests. And in the end, our second semester ended in beautiful sunshine. Ready? I'm gonna let go.
どうぞ。
After I let go of the frame, it stood firm without any support. The skeletal frame of our lens tube stood out under the open skies. Our Dobsonian was finally complete.
でっかーい！壮観ですわ。こうして見ると迫力あるね。
Everyone looked on proudly, taking in the fruits of our labor. We all came straight here after our closing ceremonies to get things ready for the event. No one had wanted to miss this, so everyone had showed up, even the members that lived far away.
本当に望遠鏡作っちゃったんだね。私たち。
それもこんなに大きいやつだよ。
We set up in the mountains. We set up here on the mountain slope, right under the clear skies. The Dobsonian was quite a sight to behold. Set up right here on the mountain slope, right under the clear skies. The Dobsonian was quite a sight to behold, with only a frame for the body and every single part, right down to the lens. With only a frame for the body and every single part, right down to the lenses, was made of refurbished materials. Our telescope really looked like the king of all junk. Despite that, it seemed to stand there in solitude, sights set on the heavens, and gave off this air of supposed greatness. Just what would the vast expanse of space look like through this thing? Or was this mindset just the emotional outcome of completing such a large project?
課題の動きを試すんで離れてください。
Keisuke and members of the Moromisawa Club and I all worked on testing the frame's mobility. Since we were unable to set the frame on a tripod, it was all set directly on the ground. And while it was hard enough to support a giant Dobsonian, it also had to work as an altazimuth and rotate on 2 axes. Smooth movements and moderate resistance was necessary if we wanted to find and track celestial bodies. Seems pretty good to me. What do you think?
多少ムラがありますが、スムーズすぎもしないし、旧大点ではないかと。
Oh, this was Keisuke's handiwork. Maybe there was some textbook riot on the line here or something. To me, the frame seemed better than anything I could have imagined. Korona whispers to herself as she watched it move east to west, up and down.
やっぱり大砲みたいだ。
おっきな鏡がついてるからソーラーレイって感じだね。
It was definitely something that could move anyone's boyish heart. It brought back memories of the first time I saw one and how badly I'd wanted to build it.
そうだ、この子に名前つけようよ。ドブちゃんみたいなさ。
Don't call it Dobby, and don't give us a sock. Kari's definitely seemed proud of her idea, but after looking at everyone's faces, I think she was the only one.
いや、ドブちゃんは例えだから、もっと可愛いのとか、かっこいいのとか。
いいですね。その方が愛着が出そう。しかし、ドブちゃんじゃないとなると。
ドブちゃんが第一候補だったみたいな言い方しないでよ。
むつら星の回だから、むっちゃん？
むつみさん。
Madame's
いかつい外見に対して可愛すぎませんか？ここはもっとたくましい感じの名前を。
Like, that's too cute for this absolute fucking behemoth.
だったら、ムツゴロウ。そんなの決まってますわ。
Rime said right over Noriko.
プレアデス1号なんていかがかしら。
プレアデス？
ええ。だって今の私たちはムツラ星ではなく7つの星の集まったプレアデスですから。
She said this while winking at Korona. Korona couldn't help but smile brightly back at her. I'll move this over a bit. This better.
決まりですね。
いいと思うよ。特に1号ってのがいいね。2号3号と続きそうで。
The name Pleiades included not only the 6 schools that were part of our group, but also our special member Korona. It would also make a great story for future members. It was the story of a new age for the 6 Stars Club.
よかったね、コロナ。
Just call it the Pleiades Club. With that, we went back to adjusting the optical axis. With the working eyepiece, we worked to align the optical axis of the primary lens and secondary lens. If we didn't get this lined up, the image will be distorted, or even worse, it might not be able to see anything. We might not be able to see anything at all. This was one of the most important steps in setting up a reflecting telescope.
お天気持ちますかね。
Noriko said, looking up at the skies while she watched us work. It was starting to get a little cloudy. The forecast said it'll get cloudy this afternoon, but should clear up tonight. Likelihood of rain was supposed to be 0% straight through to tomorrow afternoon.
油断は禁物ですよ。
そうそう。天気予報の晴れと私らの晴れは違うんだから。
Oh, that was true. Normal clear skies and the sort of clear skies you need for astronomy are quite different. Even when the sky looks clear, haze and fluctuation conditions can really distort the light. In the meantime, we managed to get the optical axis lined up. But that wasn't the last of our work. We had other stuff to get ready, aside from the Dobsonian itself. Like the tents for one. We set up mine and the ones the member from Nishi High borrowed from the camping club at their school. Then we set up a folding table, also borrowed, so that we'd have a place to sit and eat at. Alright, we can pull out some sheets if need be, but for now, I'd say we're good. We'll use the tablet to check through our list.
これにて準備完了です。
ねえ、みんなで記念写真撮ろうよ。私らのプレアデス1号と一緒にさ。
いいですね。
コロナ、アキニーの隣。あんたはちっこいんだから前列だ。
I wanna stand next to him! Nah, Besh, you too small. You go in front of him, if anything.
ほら、姫さん真ん中来ないよ。
いえ、私は結局大した役にも立てず、皆さんにほとんどの役目を押し付けてしまったのに。
They wouldn't be doing this work if it weren't for you, because you were the one who thought about reviving the damn club.
何言ってんのさ、らしくない。
私たちの会長さんじゃないですか。
そうですか？じゃあ。
She eagerly took a spot right in the middle of everyone. Members of the Stars Club lined up in front of Ardopzonian.
準備いい？行くよ。
Narue ran over to join us after she set the camera on a tripod and pressed the shutter button.
まだですの？
セルフタイマーだからもうすぐだよ。ほら笑って。
会長、笑顔が引きつっています。だって。
嘘、今私。
いい記念写真になったんじゃない？
ジーノさん、撮り直しを要求します。ジーノさん。
Rime cried out in vain as Narue laughed while checking the screen one last time before putting the camera away. I was curious as to what kind of face Rime was making during the photo. Also, I like how he wasn't on the photo. Once the picture was finished, Honoka went over tonight's program. It was going to be a public event, so there was a ton of stuff we had to keep in
私
mind.
からは以上です。では会長、最後に何か一言どうぞ。
Orima stepped forward as if she had been awaiting this very moment. The look on everyone's face said that there would be a long speech ahead.
皆様、今日という素晴らしい日を迎えられたのは、ひとえに皆様の協力と団結のおかげですわ。改めて感謝の意を述べさせていただきます。本当にありがとうございました。
だかららしくないって。
僕らは自分たちのやりたいことをしたまでです。
そうですよ。私たちこそ白鳥さんに感謝してます。
We never would have come together if it wasn't for Orihime. The clubs at our schools had been out of touch, but she had got us to get connected again. She had worked hard for our group. However, she just shook her head.
至らぬ私を皆さんが支えてくれました。とりわけ空見くんには感謝の言葉もないくらい。
I didn't do anything. I hadn't been expecting to get called out like
それ
this.
にあなた方の惑星観測ノート、あれには感動しました。星空を見上げる楽しさが詰まったノートは、私が目指すムツラ星の会の理想の姿のようで。
I think you're being a bit too generous. We all laughed awkwardly at her sudden praise.
いいえ、私がムツラ星の会を蘇らせようと行動を起こしたこの時に、あなたとあなたのかつての仲間たちがいてくれたことは、私は
Whoops.
運命を感じずにはいられないのです。
まあ、そうなのかも。
ひかりさん、あなたとこうして天文活動を共にできたこと、今夜一緒に星を見られること、心から嬉しく思うわ。
Kari's expression suddenly changed as she quickly looked up and realized what Orihime meant. Orihime knew that Hikari was leaving.
私も嬉しいです。今この時、ムツラ星の会っていう私の居場所がここにあってくれたことが、ここにいるみんなと星を見られることが。
Everyone looked pleased, or even bashful, at Hikari's words. Though our club was once close to being disbanded, our Dubsonian project had finally brought us all together as the new Stars Club. Hikari looked around at everyone, growing bashful herself, and put Saya on her shoulder.
ありがとね。
Pat Saya on
戻って
her
きて
shoulder.
くれて。
光こそ。
And then she looked at me.
一緒に見ようね。あの望遠鏡でさ、途中だった私たちの銀河旅行の続きしよう。
Yeah. We should make it we should make it farther out than ever before this time. With the help of our new Pleiades one.
それでは一度解散いたしましょうか。
観測会の開始時間まで自由行動ということで。
The words are all it took to loosen up the tension building in the air.
よし、オリオン座バックに整形写真撮るぞ。今のうちにロケハンやるよ。
待ってくださいよ部長。この場所からどんな風に星座が見えるか。
そうっすね部長、楽しみっす。
Everyone was heading off with club members from their schools. Well, I've got work until tonight. What is everyone else up to?
私はね、サヤン家に遊びに行く。夕飯もお呼ばれするんだ。
光が来るって言ったらお母さんおでん炊いてくれたよ。
マジで？やったー！サヤン家のおでん。
I was so jealous I couldn't even begin to
ア
hide
キ
it.
トくんの分も後で持ってくね。光が全部食べちゃわなかったら。
おってうおってう。
Didn't look like I would have a chance. Oh well. Anyways, so yeah. I'm gonna be ending the part here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time. Bye bye.